and welcome back to CounterCast, episode number 49. We are that much closer to that 50 mark. This is going to be a great show. Instead of covering pop culture, news, gaming, and all the different streaming news going on, everything going on with Kotaku, Gamergate 2.0, I thought that, you know what? There was this outrageous, ridiculous Kotaku article that spawned a conversation on X between me, Melee Games, Angry Canadian, and Imp Black Belts. And it was about ranking every 3D Sonic game, and Kotaku can't even get game rankings right. When they're not talking about bogus politics and gaming, they can't even get ranking games right. So we decided we would do our own ranking. We're going to do a Sonic the Hedgehog appreciation stream, but to do that, I got to have a magnanimous panel, so let's introduce the gang. Melee K, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hello, I am Melee K, one half of Melee Games. We do a bunch of game streams and all that fun stuff. Leon, I'm so excited to go autistic on Sonic with you. You have no idea.
I'm ready for it. Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. But to be fair, if we're going to talk about autism, then we need like an actual Canadian, because all Canadians are autistic. Angry Canadian, tell the people who you are and what you do.
What is up? I'm the Angry Canadian. I'm just a small YouTuber on this side of the internet, covering video games, video game music, and of course, my boy Shadow the Hedgehog. Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, I'm stoked to do it. I can't wait for all of us to. I want to hear everyone's varying opinions on that game. But speaking of varying opinions, the master of electrosis himself, the Internet Crusader, Imp Black Belt. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hey guy, hey buddy, how you doing today? I'm just a random guy that likes to play games and stream. I grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a big part of my childhood. I love to play a lot of retro games, indie games. I'm actually going to be going live after this stream as well, but I'm going to save all that shilling for later.
Oh, so you play retro games. See, you're the opposite of Angry Canadian, who has never really touched 2D Sonic because he's a filthy damn casual. I love 2D Sonic. Are you a 2D Sonic fan?
I was going to say, like, spoiler alert, my biggest experiences with 2D Sonic. I've played basically every 2D Sonic there is. I have a little bit less 3D Sonic experience, but I am slowly working
so thanks for coming on a show where the whole thing's going to be about 3D Sonic. I know you
I know. I mean, I've actually seen a lot about almost all of them. I think there's maybe one in the list that I'm not really going to be able to talk about a lot, but I've played most of them already. I've got a playlist on my own channel of the Sonic retrospective where I've played a lot of them, and it's continuing to grow all the time. So,
well, before we get into any of that, before I get into giving you guys questions going over this article, we can't do a show without an audience. So let's say hello to our beautiful audience. We got Wearing a Bly here, says, hey, words in chat. You were the first one to show up. Thanks, Emil, brother man. Bio T Wolf says, sup all. Black Belt in the chat saying, hey to everybody. Same with the Angry Canadian. We got Sexy Sonia over here modding it up because she is the best in the game. And she's saying, hi, boys. Eddie Ramen challenge accepted. Oh, that's right. We got some gamers in here. Hypno in the house who is ready to get gay. Oh, dude, unparalleled amounts of homoeroticism will be going on in this chat. I imagine, especially when we start talking about Edgy the Hedgy. Anonymous coming in with the gotta go fast. You goddamn right. And then some chili dog emojis with a ring and a hedgehog. You did good there, Anonymous. Shaka Zulu saying, hail the chat. You goddamn right. Hail the chat and like that stream and don't be a Kotaku journalist. Sonia Lysett back again. We got Cult of Carl RNG podcast. What up, brother, man? Love to see it. Jimmy Boy Harrison. We all know the best 3D Sonic game, period, is Sonic 06. I'm going to have some hot takes about that later in the show. So just hang tight there. Alex Moore, something to listen to. You damn right. I knew Sonic Boom fan would be stoked for this show. And then he comes in asking questions about fucking something not Sonic related. Quick answer. I'm going to fuck. I've never seen Moana. I've literally no opinions. It's got a couple of good songs. Never seen it. You guys on the panel have thoughts on Moana?
No,
I
can't
literally
say.
What you just said is I don't give a shit about.
I thought it was okay. Lilo and Stitch is the better Hawaiian Disney movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Does anyone smell Wet Hedgehog? Bro, that is anxiety-inducing music. You ever put Sonic in the water and then there's that like that creepy rip when you're about to drown? That shit, especially in Sonic Adventure when you actually see his body float when he dies. Yeah, Wet Hedgehog is anxiety-ridden. Shadow 1W2. In a nutshell, 3D Sonic games like Sonic Smash Bros. Wii runs really fast, seems great, then trips randomly way too often. Well, we will get into that. Melee Games, other half, lesser half. No offense, buddy, but you know, women and all that. Coming in hot. The internet will not be able to handle this much tism. He's not fucking wrong. Nerdy Neo says, great panel plan for today. Thanks for showing up, Nerdy Neo. Jerry, you review. Twisted Jack. So many of y'all coming in hot. Emily dismantling illusions. Yeah, thank you to everyone showing up. We appreciate it. We're going to go hard in the paint. But first and things first, Emily dismantling illusions gifted 5 gifties, 5 words of paradise gifties. You know what that means. 5 gifties. Oh, dude, that is going to get you some fucking metal. Thank you so much, Emily. You didn't need to do it, but you did. It means the absolute world to me. That is what helps keep the stream going, keep the guests coming. It is absolutely perfect. Guys, we're going to get into this. Chat, I will catch up with you as much as we can, but we got one hell of a discussion today. I like to start the show off the same way every time, which is to ask you guys, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, just what have you been doing in nerd culture lately? It doesn't have to be Sonic related. Just what have you been doing that you find positive, whether it be games you've been playing, comics you've been reading, whatever it be. What has got you jazzed in nerd culture as of late?
I mean,
Don't ever speak up at once.
I'm having a weird moment with gaming right now because if you guys didn't guess from the Melee name, I'm a Smash Melee fan. The one game I've been playing lately is Ultimate, which I don't think is the best Smash Brothers by any extension whatsoever. I get in arguments about this constantly because a lot of people love Ultimate. But there are things I'm starting to like about Ultimate, and it's terrifying me. So pull it away from me, please, soon, because in a positive, I guess, twist of fate, I'm starting to like Ultimate more than I did before, and that's scary.
Oh, dude, I mean, you and I gotta get some games on there because I'm like competitively, I play Melee and Ultimate, and I'm way better at Ultimate than Melee. So who's your main?
Really?
I really like. So Melee is. I love Melee. However, Melee is so beautifully technical, and I'm a massive fan of technical fighters, that there are certain things that, like, I've crested. I don't know if I will ever get better at Melee. Whereas Ultimate, I feel like I'm still actively growing and improving. And plus, my main is completely different in each game. So,
to answer your question, so Captain Falcon's my main across like all of them.
You motherfucker!
I love him. But I also like to play Mario sometimes, Donkey Kong, Link, and Roy. I mean, I love Fire Emblem, as many people know, so Roy I have to play.
Yeah, I'm a Fire Emblem. In fact, it was because of Melee that I became a Fire Emblem fan. Probably much like everybody in the West. Do either of you guys have Smash mains?
I am a Ganondorf main in Melee. They hard nerfed Ganondorf after that. It feels bad. He was all right in Ultimate, but after that,
he's actually my main in Ultimate. I won't even lie. Ganondorf's my main in Ultimate.
I like Ganondorf. I know he's technically by many accounts like the inferior Captain Falcon, but I don't.
Not only that, he is in Ultimate. He is the lowest tier character in the game.
Yeah, I mean he was mid tier. Like they upgraded him from C to C+ in the latest Melee rankings. Like they basically said he's the bouncer. He's never going to get in the club, but he's going to make sure nobody else gets in the club if they don't belong there. But no, I love Melee. I had a friend back in high school who used me as a punching bag to learn how to go professional. So I know a lot of the tricks. I'm just so bad at them. I have trouble.
That's
using
right, Matt. Like I know wave dashing,
Yeah,
I know how to short hop and whatnot, but like I'm worse at it in Melee than I am in Ultimate. Also, real quick, Little Miss Anonymous, I compare those games so often, but I didn't know that fact. You were just dropping some knowledge on me because that is it's one of my favorite comparisons in gaming. So do comment on like favorite comment so far. Kill it, Little Miss Anonymous. All right, sorry, who's your main Canadian?
Since Melee, it's always been Young Link, even though then when Brawl came around, it was Toon Link, and then in Ultimate or Smash 4, they kind of like changed up his moveset. So when they brought Young Link back, I just went back to Young Link. But I like playing fast and loose, so I'll play random. I like just doing random.
Yeah, me too.
I'll
like
do that
especially
with
later.
Buddies. We do that. That's super fun to do with buddies. But when I'm trying to get tournament prepped, nah, I'm just fucking grinding with Ganondorf. And then my alternates are Ike and Captain Falcon.
Well, and it's interesting. It's just a force of will and sheer level of gameplay that can really propel you to tournament heights. It doesn't matter how technical certain characters are or how good a character is in the rankings. Like there's I think it was last year or the year before, Guilty Gear. The guy literally took Nago, like one of the lowest ranking characters in the game. He took it all the way to victory. And he just proved like if you just workshop it, if you know the matchups and you know how to play the game with a little bit of luck and a lot of skill, you can come out on top. It doesn't matter if it's the best character.
Dude, I love everyone dropping their mains in chat. Like, hell yeah, good on you guys getting involved. I love seeing all y'all's mains. All right, well, Canadian and Crusader, before we get into it, what have you been doing in Nerd? We sort of hijacked my first question because I want to talk about Smash for a moment. It's sort of Sonic related. He's been in the game since Brawl, but yeah, what have you guys been doing that you were excited about despite all the negativity in general lately?
Canadian, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I discovered a new Sonic game that is a little bit of a gem now. But the downside is it's locked behind.
Sonic Gems?
I wish it's locked behind Apple Arcade. It's called Sonic Dream Team, and it is a very, very polished game. Like controls wise, it plays very similar to Sonic Frontiers, but it has elements of like Sonic Adventure. So there's a couple extra characters you get to run around with in this like it's a smallish world. The world I can describe it as a Super Mario 3D world. If you ever played that game, you got like these kind of like big zones you're running around in, and you can run up walls and all this other stuff. It's kind of got the same feeling, but it's in a Sonic engine, so that's been a lot of fun playing that.
Yeah, because it's a mobile game, I did leave it off the tier list, but I figured we would talk about it at some point if anybody knew anything about it. So that game is not on the tier list, but yeah, I'm glad. I've heard it's good, like especially I've heard it's leaps and bounds better than the vast majority of mobile games. Like it's one of the most polished mobile games.
It's insane. Yeah.
Shaka Zulu, man after my own fucking heart right here. Yeah. I said it's not my favorite Sonic soundtrack, but it's top 3. It's top 3. In fact, Sonic R is on the tier list because honestly, I have such great memories growing up playing this game. But I've got that entire soundtrack on like my just daily listening playlist because it's the ultimate summertime jams playlist. Shaka Zulu coming in with some fire. And last but not least, Internet Crusader, give us your best short version of what you've been going on lately.
Well, I've been playing a whole lot of everything, honestly. Like I'm getting ready to play some. Like I've been on a big Halo kick lately because again, Halo 1 and 2 were also my childhood. I had another friend of mine. We played so much Halo 1 and 2. We glitched the game out so many ways. So I'm going to be playing my first blind playthrough of Halo 3 later with friends. We're going to be doing that on the Master Chief Collection. But beyond that, like I've also been playing a bunch of indie stuff like Balatro, Bingle Bingle. I last year when it came out, it got a recent update. Kay, you still need to play it. Pizza Tower. I'd say it's the best Sonic fan game.
I need to play it so bad.
It's so like, and the only reason I say that is because
I haven't played Pizza Tower, but I've been told I need to play it.
Pizza Tower is a Wario Land inspired indie game. It was in development for 5 years, and I would say that it has one of the best soundtracks and setups for sound design across the board. I would give it an actual 10 out of 10 in sound design and music. I highly recommend it. And the reason I joke about it being a Sonic fan game is because it was also demoed at the Sage Sonic Fan Game Expo. They gave him like a cute little Sonic fan character called Snick. So it's actually funny, but it's just a genuinely good game if you get the chance. It's got a second playable character now, the Noise. It's just super fun. There's too much going on in the nerddom for me. I try to avoid the negativity most part.
Well, the negativity needs to be called out, needs to be addressed, which is the 100%. The inspiration for this stream, because everyone dogs on Kotaku, everyone makes fun of Kotaku because they want to put activism in all of gaming, all of games journalism. That's all they care about. So even when you get an article that doesn't have any activism in it and just focuses on gaming, they are such a trash outlet that they still fuck up. So here it is. We're going to go over their ranking of the 3D Sonic the Hedgehog games ranked from worst to best. We're going to go through this, so we agree with, disagree with, probably roast the fuck out of it. Then we will be doing our own Sonic game tier list. And yeah, let's just start here. So it's done by Kenneth Shepard.
Can I quickly point out you look at the very bottom of your screen share here? I'd like to note that this is one of those like multi-page listicles where each entry has its own page, which means that each time you click, you get more ads. They are so desperate that they're making multi-page listicles now.
It's funny because Kotaku didn't used to do that, or at least not very often, but I've come across several of them recently, which goes to show just reeks of their desperation. QJ in the house, how you doing, brother, man? Yeah, so let's get this going. We're not going to read through all of what they have to say. We're just going to take a look at where they are on the list. The very first one, the worst they got, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric.
No.
You don't think this is the worst 3D
You don't
Sonic
think this
game?
is the worst? I would
it's
say
it's pretty bad, but it's not the worst, I would say.
What do you
think
think
this
is
is the only
worse? Because
one-
honestly, this is one of the few things I think they got right.
Yes,
Yeah?
exactly. This is
Okay,
the only
alright.
one I was like, okay, sure, yeah.
All right.
Got it.
I'm sorry. I have to reiterate. Like, my personal expertise is more in the 2D Sonic realm. I've talked a lot about like various 3D ones, and I'm about halfway through playing the 3D ones. This is one of the few. I just from everything I've seen about this one that I haven't because I haven't played it. I maybe it's a lot worse than I thought it was, but I didn't think that this one was that bad. I guess when I think Sonic Boom, I think of the cartoon, which is way better than it should be.
The cartoon's fine. Oh, look at that. A guy called Sonic Boom Fan has a hot take giving it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, that's called blind fanboyism, buddy. I'm glad you enjoy it. I am, but no, this game is abject trash. I would light it on fire and send it to Satan's doorstep. In Canadian, you got thoughts? Is there anything worse than Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric?
I mean, I have been playing through Secret Rings, and I'm about to jump off something very high because of how terrible the controls are in that game. It's not that they're motion controls, it's just the fact that they're not fine-tuned for the actions that you need to be doing in that game. So yeah, because later on in Sonic and Black Knight, you can connect a nunchuck.
Is it worse than Rise of Lyric? Yes or no?
I would say yes right now because I haven't played Sonic Boom yet. So it's not fair for me to say.
Okay, that's fair. As someone who has played both, I can tell you, no, Rise of Lyric is fucking.
Is that bad?
Okay.
It is bad.
I will
It
trust
slows
your-
Sonic down so much, and like that's the main
Okay.
thing that's painful in those kinds of
I'll
games.
trust
but,
you
like,
there, yeah.
it does not feel like a Sonic game to me.
All right, second worst, they have Sonic 06. Bullshit. I'm gonna call right now bullshit, but let's
I'd
hear your guys'
agree.
thoughts first.
I think the worst part about this game, and this is the same biggest problem that I have with Duke Nukem Forever, is this game is loading screen simulator, Sega edition. That is the problem. You're talking to somebody that genuinely enjoys Sonic Spinball. I've beaten it multiple times on stream. This game is the worst. Is at its worst when you're in a loading screen, and even like there's a lot of jank. There are a lot of problems. I'm actually getting ready to play this one personally very soon. But after seeing like how weird and janky and stuff is, at least it's still a functional Sonic game, even if it's only barely functional.
Melee Games, is this true? Is Duke Nukem Forever actually great on PC? Because if so, I will give it a shot because I fucking love Duke Nukem. And if it's actually great on PC, I would definitely get it.
If you put it on a solid state to minimize those load screens, yeah, it's a lot better. But he's also James is also a huge Duke Nukem fanboy, and he personally thinks that game is just it is absolutely taking the piss out of everything, which is classic in the Duke Nukem sense. Like everything it does is a huge parody of everything it was. It's great.
Well, and I mean, like, I've been playing Duke Nukem 3D religiously over the past, like I will just pop it on at random points over the course of the last 5 months and just fuck around because Duke Nukem 3D is one of the best video games literally ever made. So
I could get down with that.
So, all right, well, Melee K, you got thoughts on whether or not this should be the second worst ranked Sonic game?
I don't like. The thing is, I'm trying to think of what is worse. I think people give this game a bad rap, and it's not as bad as people say it is.
I completely
But I'm
agree.
being very hard pressed to think of what's worse. I had a pretty poor experience with Sonic Colors and Sonic Forces personally, so I can see those maybe being on par, but this could be in the right spot.
All right,
This
well,
could
we'll
be.
get to where we actually start debating these, like hard debating when we actually do the tier list. But okay, so fair enough. I see where you stand with that. Canadian, you got thoughts before we move on?
No, I agree with Kay on this. I think it gets too much heat. I still need to play this one because I really want to play this one. So I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. Maybe the loading times just kind of a flaw of its own.
All righty, what do they have next? Shadow the Hedgehog. I know we're all going to get heated at this one. Dude, there's fucking no way Shadow the Hedgehog is worse than Secret Rings or Forces or I would dare say even Colors.
No,
I agree with
totally
you.
agree.
Yeah.
This should be way higher.
I would
Way
put this above the 50% mark easily.
Yeah.
When I look at it, and Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite 3D Sonics. The story isn't great, but the gameplay is actually good. It's like Sonic Adventure 2, but with guns. And yeah, the guns feel a little bit weird, but they balance them kind of around the guns, so it actually works out. I think the gameplay is actually good. And the branching stories, bosses, paths, and everything it's actually fun.
This is by no means one of the best Sonic games, but it is very, very much in the top half, at least. Like, the Sonic 3D games, the ones that are good are fucking great. And then you've got some that are mediocre. I think Shadow the Hedgehog is a step above mediocre, but I mean, you're comparing it to things like Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Heroes. Like, I don't know. We'll go on more about it when we do the ranking, but yeah,
Well,
this is absolute
here's the
bullshit
thing.
from Kotaku. Go for
Here's
it.
the thing with this game is this is where it really showed their hand that they're not like actual Sonic 3D fans at all, because this is an opinion people have of like, oh, but it has guns, so how can it be like a good Sonic game? And it felt like that's why they ranked it this low, which tells me that they didn't really play through the whole game.
It's the guns
or they're
Right?
anti 2A.
Oh, look, a Kotaku journalist that didn't play through a game? Color me shocked.
I don't know. It just felt like such a like, you know, when you're at a distance and you comment about something, you're like, well, how can Sonic fans like this game when it's like Sonic's not even the main character? And you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's guns.
There's a word for that. It's called a spinoff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why would people like Frasier when it has nothing to do with Cheers? Like, Sonic Lost World. This game is, I played it once. I beat it once, and it was the definition of fine.
Yeah, it should be much higher up on the list, especially when you got contenders like Secret Rings, which I'm going to keep mentioning this stream. It should definitely be higher up on the list.
Dread Roberts in the chat. I just want to say shout out, buddy. You've been killing it lately. Keep that momentum up, man. Proud to see where you're going, dude. Good work. I remember renting it. It was very okay. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think it should be this low, but it shouldn't be much higher, honestly.
This is the one that I have no clue about whatsoever. I've seen a couple of gameplay videos of it very briefly, and that's all. I don't know anything about this. 100%.
It's got a great Eggman moment. I'll give it that. Like, bro, like there's this one scene where Eggman goes full dart. Like, 'cause this is probably the most kid-friendly Sonic game. Like, it's this or Colors are the most kid-friendly Sonic game. And bro, Eggman gives some fucking death threats in this that was like, oh, you could have used that in fucking Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, it was dark. It was awesome.
Oh wow.
Don't forget the Zelda DLC for it.
Oh yeah, there was a crossover with Legend of Zelda, which also was really sick.
I didn't
Sonic
know there
and
was
the Black
DLC.
Knight being
What?
lower than Secret Rings is fucking bullshit. From what, now, I've never played this game. Because Secret Rings was so bad, is why I didn't play Black Knight. But everything I've heard is that Black Knight is leaps and bounds improvements. So I need some opinions from people who actually played it.
It depends
Yes.
what your like what you base your rankings on, because this is more of like a hack and slash type game. So you get like the sword. It's very like King Arthur type game. It's not a traditional Sonic game by any means. There are some moments where you can still speed around like you would in any other Sonic game, but a majority of it does slow down. So if you're one of those people that likes the flow of a Sonic game, like especially as 2D fans, we really like, you know, the fast pace of it. It might not be for you, and that could be why it's ranked lower, but I do think this is better than Secret Rings, personally. So this should be higher. This should be higher for sure.
Yep.
Beautiful question, Nerdy Neo says, as the Sonic casual, where did Eggman come from? It's Robotnik. No, it's Eggman. So
Yeah.
his real name is Robotnik, yes, but 1998, Sonic, first time Sonic could speak in a video game, Sonic Adventure, he calls him Eggman as an insult. It's the first time we ever heard the insult, and it fucking stuck. Why? Because he's a fat fuck like an egg, and it's a fantastic insult. I love it. I will always call him Eggman because that's what he is. That's what my boy Sonic calls him as an insult, and I'm down for it. So that's where Eggman came from.
Officially his name is Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. Like he is known as Eggman. So yeah. I mean, maybe I was wrong. I thought he was always known as Eggman in Japan and then localized to Robotnik in the North America. I could be wrong about that.
No, he was Robotnik even in the Japanese. Now, there were some Japanese comics that, so in game lore, the first time it was called Eggman was 98. There were some, I believe they were Japanese comics. They may have been American comics where he was Dr. Ivo Kintober. And there was like some weird shenanigans where like he cross-pollinated, like there was some bad experiment gone wrong. And like he took on the properties of an egg, and so they call him Eggman in the comics, but that's not canon to the games or anything. That's just some weird 90s comic chicanery. So, hey, yeah, Shaka Zulu even got the fucking reference. Look, it's a giant talking egg. Yeah, that's literally the line that did it. Bingo.
Yeah, this
Alrighty.
one, the Sonic and the Black Knight, I played that one. I hated it. The controls felt, but I was coming off of other games that were like, I was coming off of Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure 2, where it was like, hey, you could actually like move and do this and backtrack and everything. The controls felt stiff. The controls felt so on rails. It was painful. I felt like that one could get rated pretty low, but I don't know. I'm excited to try Secret Rings very soon.
Real quick, Nerdy Neo, the 90s cartoon came out before the 98 game we're referring to, Sonic Adventure, and the 90s cartoon, depending on which one you're referring to, is bullshit. It's a shit cartoon. The first, they call him Robotnik as the insult in the 90s cartoon, which is not near as cool as Eggman. Yeah, fuck the 90s cartoon. It's awful. The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is trash. Sonic Saturday AM is real good, though. Sonic and the Secret Rings coming in at number, let's see, it's still low on the list. You know, they've got, because it says 7 out of 18, but we're going backwards. So this would be like what?
This is 11.
12 or something. 11. Yeah, number 11. It's right there. So number 11, Sonic and the Secret Rings. Nah, this should have been like second worst after Sonic Boom.
Yeah, this one I don't know that much about either, so I have to lean into what everyone else says here.
Well,
and I have this one, and I'm gonna play it soonish. But
it's Sonic and the Arabian Nights. I like the story in this game, to be honest. It's just so, like
Story's
off the
fun.
walls.
Story's cool.
Yeah,
I love
levels are cool
so
too.
Yeah, it's a good looking game, but like the actual controls, you're forced into the Wiimote, which is probably what Canadians are raging a little bit about, because it's very unoptimized and you're just kind of like swaying side to side and it doesn't feel good at all. You're fighting against the controls the entire time. So the actual concept of the game is great. I love like everything around Sonic and the Secret Rings, but the actual like gameplay, yeah, I understand why Canadians raging, and it should be way lower.
But did this one come out before or after?
Yeah, this one came
Black
out
Knight?
before Black Knight. This is the first in the storybook saga. It was absolute garbage. They made Black Knight, which again I've heard is a step above. It's the only game on this list I haven't played. And then those games were just so poorly they stopped the storybook series altogether. But dude, fuck every bit of this game when it comes to how it plays. The story is great and the music is great, and that's it.
I mean, if I'm being real, like Sonic the Hedgehog is just the rock star of video gaming. He came out, it blasted onto the scene with all these great hits before experimenting with weird substances like 3D and motion controls, before eventually fading into semi-obscurity where the only people that show up to his concerts are old fans that pine for the old times.
I mean,
to be fair, but now he's doing that Rockstar thing where he's having a resurgence because we're not doing it on the list yet. But Frontiers is fucking good. I really like Frontiers. I hope more people did as well because it got really positive reviews. We'll talk about more Frontiers later. But yeah, it's in the resurgence part of his rock style career. This Frontiers was his smooth by Carlos Santana moment. No one remembered Carlos Santana after 1969. Then fucking 1999 comes out. He hooks up with Rob Thomas and makes the banger summer hit of the decade. That is what Sonic Frontiers was. For all you that needed a reference to the smooth from 1999, got you on lock. All right. To answer the reason I ignored this question, Sonic Boom fans, because I knew this was coming up. Sonic 3D Blast. I don't fucking think this game should even be on the list. It is not a 3D Sonic game. It's got 3D in the name, but isometric 3D is not 3D. So
yeah,
where do you guys think?
I was wondering if you were going to put this on the list. Well, I mean, I don't know. This is not your list.
It's on Kotaku's list.
But
I actually kind of like this game. It's certainly not a great 3D game, but it's still this is like, imagine this is like prototype early 3D Sonic, and it's honestly not bad. The sound design is great. The music is so good that the music actually got put into other games. Like not just like Windy Valley in Sonic Adventure 1, and also Twinkle Park. Both of those songs.
Twinkle Park, I don't think I knew, but yes, Windy Valley is a remix of a level in Sonic 3D Blast. Yeah,
Green Grove Act 1 and so Green Grove Act 1 and Panic Puppet Act 1 both got remixed into Windy Valley and Twinkle Park. The music was so good that they just wanted to do them again because they didn't get enough attention.
Akuma Music Production is asking Sonic characters ripping off DBZ with 7 Chaos Emeralds in the Supersonic forms. Not only that, there's actually so many more similarities. Silver's story is literally Future Trunks. Like Silver the Hedgehog is a carbon copy of fucking Future Trunks. There's so many Dragon Ball parallels. I would not say it's a ripoff so much as I would say it's heavily inspired, because you can make the same argument for Toriyama and Dragon Ball. Like the Android Saga is took inspiration from Terminator 2. Like he has directly inspired that story from Terminator 2. So
I think they said as much too. I think it is inspired. I think they did say it's inspired because the original iterations of Sonic were green eyes, yellow hair. So I'm pretty sure that it was actually just directly inspired by Super Saiyans.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Like, I don't know if it's true, but if someone came out and said it, then yeah, I can see the inspiration. I think it's great. But as far as 3D Blast goes, look, I don't think it should be on the list at all. I put it on our list just because it's also on the Kotaku list. But I think it's a mediocre game. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. It's got banger music. It was, again, a weird experimental 2.5D thing that shouldn't be here. But if they've got it on the list, then, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be on this list at all, and I guess for the time it was okay, but I think that there's way better games on this list that got ranked lower. Even Lost World, which again, I think you put perfectly, it's a very okay game. I think it slightly edges above 3D Blast. I really didn't like it.
I would agree with that. I would say that I would definitely go back to Lost World before I go back to 3D Blast. Yeah.
I actually really like
Cthulhu Loves You. The 3D or the GBA games are sick. The Sonic Advance games.
Oh yeah. Those were great though. They were fast paced and interesting. I just kind of wish you got a better aspect ratio. Like the teeny weeny Istrano vision is kind of.
That's why I want them to come to the Switch, like eShop or something. Like they can, because they could definitely fix that with a console port like the Switch eShop, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Number 9, Sonic Forces. I love this game, but I acknowledge this game is fucking awful, and there is the difference.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you love about this game? I played a little bit of it and I had to stop because I couldn't stand it.
I love the music. I love being look. Everyone grew up drawing their own Sonic OCs. Everyone did. If you were a Sonic fan, I'm no fucking different. I remember drawing Flames the Hedgehog and shit like that. And to be able to I've got a cat named Anastasia. I love my cat to death. I made my avatar a Sonic version of the actual cat that I own, that I've had since I was like 18 years old. I think that is fun. I like the music in this game a lot. I think there is potential in the story, and then they squander it, but I can see nuggets of good ideas here. Yeah, it's just the game itself is so aggressively bad.
Yeah,
anyone has anything to follow up with.
No. That's why I was curious. I think I'd actually put this below Sonic 06, but I've played more of Sonic 06.
Oh, for sure. I would definitely put this below Sonic 06.
Yeah, from everything I've seen about this, because this is another one. Like, I need to find a copy of it somewhere. I think it's on PC, but I'll eventually play this one. It
is absolutely
everything I've seen. It doesn't seem great
on Steam to experience. I will say that if you see this for $5-10 on Steam, fucking, you've got 8 hours of ridiculousness that you'll have some monicum of this is interesting with. Maybe not fun, but enjoyment.
You know what? Sure. I'll take you up on that if it goes on sale. I do know, like, I laughed because I saw a video of somebody just hold the boost button in the first level and don't touch anything else, and you just beat the level. It's like,
that is 100% accurate. The bird and cat get along in the sense that they don't fuck with each other, but the bird is absolutely if we were going to treat it like a homoerotic relationship, the bird is the top. The bird will fuck the cat up. The cat will not touch the bird.
Oh, so it's Tweety Bird. Got it.
Yeah, we got a real Tweety, like, but to the point where like Annie doesn't even want to play the Sylvester role. He's just like, nope, fuck it. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Sonic Unleashed. Now, for the ranking list, I actually put 2 versions of this game on the list because the Wii and PS2 games are very different than the PS3 and Xbox 360 games. They are basically 2 separate games.
Yes.
So one version is okay, and the other version is okay. Neither are good because the pros and cons are for each version kind of outweigh each other.
Yeah, that's very accurate. So, like, when it comes to the PS3/Xbox 360 versions, for example, the daytime stages when you're playing as normal Sonic are amazing. Like, they're long. They have a lot of like nice intricacy to them. But the nighttime stages are very like sloggy, and you're just like constantly fighting enemies every like 30 seconds. And then on the opposite side, like with the Wii and the PS2 version, it's kind of flipped, but I do like the daytime stages in that version of the game. On top of that, the menu navigation for the Wii is much better than the 360 version, like that generation. Because in the 360/PS3 version, you're running around in a hub world for each of the continents that you're visiting, and it's just like all this like extra stuff to give it
I
like
think
this
that's way better. I think the PS3 360 version is way better because you feel this immersive world very akin to Sonic Adventure or whatnot, as opposed to just the PNG menus you get on the PS2 and Wii. I think is fucking awful.
I can understand that. Like I like that aspect, but I think just like the actual menu navigation is tedious for the 360 version compared to the Wii. That's just my little bias to it because I really love the Wii version.
And I own the Wii. I played the Wii version of this one. It's actually I actually like the nighttime stages.
I
in
do
the
too.
Wii version
On
a
the
lot.
Wii,
I thought they're
way
great.
better than the PS2. Like, because I think the Wii does a good job. Like, this is one of the times where the motion controls work on a Wii.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
when you're doing the nighttime levels on this game. Also, the Wii and PS2 version cut out quite literally the best because there's an entire world and section of levels missing from those versions, which is the
Yes.
world based off New York City, and that is the coolest world in the game, and it got cut from those versions. So
Well,
fuck those
Damn.
versions.
Not only
Played the Wii
that,
version.
Probably space and constraint, time and memory.
yeah, not only that, the African world is also cut except for the boss that you do in the African world, and on the Wii version. So that's kind of
Really?
funny. Yes.
Little Miss Anonymous just getting cooler and cooler. I know I'm behind, but some of the characters that are part of the project I've been working on started out as Sonic OCs. Little Miss Anonymous, we're gonna have to get you on a stream or something sometime. You are so every time you pop in the chat, you drop such little interesting nuggets. I would love to talk more to you, girly. Alrighty, let's see what we got next. We got Sonic Frontiers.
Needs to be way higher.
Much
I
higher.
completely
Way
agree.
higher.
Completely
A
agree.
top 3 or 4 guaranteed.
Yeah.
100%. Like I might like spoilers. Mine's gonna be Sonic Adventure 2, but this one deserves to be higher.
Yeah, I think that Sonic Frontiers was proof that Sonic can be for everyone again, not just for not in the sense of like, oh, modern audiences, we're making it to no. What I mean, like Sonic, there was a time period when Sonic games were literally, it didn't matter if you were 35 or 5, you fucking loved them. And then after the failure of Sonic 06, they pretty much went like for kids only. And Sonic Frontiers is that game that made it like for everyone again. It doesn't matter what type of gamer you are. So like, it does have its issues, absolutely, but it was definitely a step back in the right direction. I think it needs more praise. Fuck Kotaku for putting it this low.
I pretty much consider this like my Breath of the Wild. I hate Breath of the Wild personally, but as a Sonic
Really?
fan, this feels like my kind of Breath of the Wild for Sonic, and I actually do enjoy it. It is a bit of an empty world sometimes, but I don't mind it.
Have you
because
gone
I'm
back and
Sonic.
replayed it since all the new free updates have been
I
added?
haven't played all the free updates, no.
Oh,
I
dude,
played like some when it first came out, and I actually really loved the game. I want to go back into it.
So
more,
have you
but-
played the updates since it added Knuckles, Amy, and Tails as playable
No.
characters? Oh,
Yes.
dude. So I had the same argument you had. I was like, man, this feels a lot like Breath of the Wild, but it's pretty empty, which to be fair, a lot of people said about Breath of the Wild. And I beat the game and I hadn't gone back to it. And when the new updates dropped, I didn't bother playing until they announced that third one. And the third one overhauls the entire ending of the game. It overhauls, adds new characters. Like basically the entire third act is completely redone. And it is a game changer. And the fact they did it for free because they heard people complaining about it was kind of like the Sonic. They heard everyone complaining in the Sonic movie about how he was designed. They took it back to the drawing board. They redesigned. They did the same thing for the third act of this game. Gave you a completely free update. It is worth a playthrough from the beginning now. And then when you get to that third act, it is wild. So it immediately jumps it higher on my list. And it was already a fun game to begin with.
I gotta play that
All
for
right,
sure.
let's
Like
see.
oh my
Okay.
god, I'm so excited. Oh, I don't like colors at all.
Well, which
actually
version did you
excited to play
play?
this.
The Wii version.
Okay, which one are you talking about? The
Wii
Wii or the
version.
Switch version, or like the new version?
I've played the
Yeah, I
Wii
heard the
version
new version
primarily,
was
but the
dog
Switch
water.
version is worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've only heard terrible things about Sonic Colors Ultimate. I'm actually excited to play this. I've got a copy I picked up at a retro store recently. I
Isn't
went
this
on
the
a
one
big
where there's like wisps or something? I don't remember
Yeah.
the name of the
Yes.
thing. And then they're like different powers and stuff. I didn't like it.
Spike.
This game was an awesome rent. Like I rented this game, I had a blast with it, and then never had any inclination to buy it. This is one of the few Sonic games I've not actually bought. I've played it multiple times, but it's just sort of I don't know. I don't know what it is about this game, but everyone praises it, but it's just not very high on the list for me.
I think
Yeah.
Shadow actually put it perfectly in chat. It's kind of like a Kirby game in disguise, but Kirby does it so much better.
Where did I want to highlight that comment? Where did Shadow
The last comment.
First one now.
Oh, right here. I was a bit behind on chat. Yeah, I also know like Killers version. Yeah, Kirby game. Yeah, I'd say that's absolutely accurate. Yes, good call out, bud. Let's see. Sonic Dream. Now, again, I don't think this should be on the list because it's a mobile game. However, Angry Canadian, you've been playing it, so give us your thoughts where it should be on this list since it is on here.
Around this area, like the 5th, 6th, 7th, because it. Now you say it's a mobile game. I've been playing it on my MacBook with a PS4 controller, and it's like even with touch controls, it's really well designed. But with the regular controller, it plays just as well as Sonic Frontiers. It is a very very polished game. Very polished game, but also a very polished Sonic game, which a lot of those bottom of the list games are just you can't call them that. So I already explained it earlier. It's an amazing game. I really wish that they will make a physical version of it for Switch or PlayStations and Xbox.
That was what Shadow was saying here. I was going to ask, is there because he says that when the exclusive deal is gone. I thought that there was like it was just an exclusive period. Is there any information on it coming to it being a timed exclusive or?
I haven't had a chance to research that, so I don't know. It's
Okay.
Apple, right? You know, they're very greedy with what they have, so we'll see.
No, Jeremy, you must have missed it. Sonic 06 was literally the one they called the second worst, if I recall. It was way low on the list, and we're going to debate that later on. Sorry, continue, Canadian.
Yeah, it's a friend of mine's trying to find like a hacked version of the game to play, like an Android version, but it's really hard because it's locked behind like Apple's like OS or whatever.
Proprietary software, yeah.
If they ever do break it out of there, like people really need to play this game because it deserves like a console release. It really does deserve it.
And from
it's
what
much
I'm
better
reading,
than Superstars, by the way.
Good.
And Superstars was not great.
Don't even talk to me about Superstars. I get really angry.
From what I'm reading, because I'm looking it up right now, I think that everyone's basically saying that it's extremely rare for Apple games to not come out of an exclusive. So it's very likely that this is just gonna be a timed thing.
Okay, that's good. I take massive exception with this. This should be number one. I don't care what anybody else says. This should be number one. I will hear arguments for why it should be number two, and Sonic Adventure 2 should be number one. The two, maybe they can flip flop, but putting Sonic Adventure at number 4 to me is bullshit of the highest caliber.
This is where I started to get angry at the list, like deeper than I was, because
Me too.
I agree with
Me
you.
too.
I'm also like I'm a huge Dreamcast shill personally, so I know that.
I knew there was a reason I loved you.
This is
definitely top 2 somewhere.
This is probably one of my favorite games, and it's in a.
It is quite literally my favorite game of all time.
Yeah,
Sonic Adventure is my single favorite game.
I guarantee you the writer played the DX version, the one that you're not supposed to play, and that's why they ranked it this low.
Oh, homie, you're assuming the writer played the game at all. This is fucking Kotaku. Quit giving the benefit of the doubt.
I don't even have any words. Like I have the DX version on GameCube, and I actually really enjoyed it. But there's a little bit of jank involved. Maybe that's just from the GameCube port, but seriously.
Did you enjoy the really bad audio mixing that's also in the DX version?
The really bad audio mixing was definitely a bad point. Like I hated the audio mixing on the DX port. I don't like the bad audio mixing on Sonic Adventure 2's Battles GameCube port either.
I love when the characters scream at me constantly just for existing and playing the game.
But the music is way too loud.
My recommendation to people is buy the DX version on Steam and then just get the Sonic Adventure mod loader and mod it to the Dreamcast version. Boom, you've got best of both worlds. Like that is my go-to way to play the game now. I also because originally the game was supposed to be, they end up axing this, but like in most Sonic games, after you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can go Super Sonic at any time. And they modded that into the Dreamcast version that you get on Steam. And so like after you beat the game, you can just turn Super Sonic at will, and it is so fucking awesome.
That's like, great. Yeah.
Sonic Generations this is probably fair, but it shouldn't be better. Like Adventure should be higher, but I think Generations being in top 3, it should be top 3 or top 4. Like this one's, I'm okay with this one.
The only reason I take offense to this is I think this is a 2.5D game. I don't think this is a 3D game. Sorry. No, I'm stupid. I'm
Oh, so
thinking,
yeah, you're
I'm
incredibly
thinking
stupid.
half
Some
my
level of
brain.
2D,
Yeah, I'm
some
just gonna
level of-
turn my brain off. No, this game is great. I love this game. This was I don't like that they referenced what is it? Apocalypse City, whatever it is from the one
Crisis
part
City.
Crisis
Crisis
City.
City.
that one from Sonic 06. I think they could have probably just glossed over Sonic 06 altogether. They had so much potential with this,
No,
but
that is part of Sonic's lore and part of Sonic's
it
history.
is.
Sonic, I mean, you in a game called Sonic Generations, you can't just
Yeah.
ignore what is perceived as the bad, especially when Crisis City is actually, in my opinion, one of the highlights of Sonic 06.
I've heard a lot of people say that it's one of the worst parts of Sonic 06 in general.
Oh, in terms of gameplay, absolutely. But what I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like from a lore and storytelling perspective,
Yeah,
everything
okay.
that goes on in Crisis
100%.
City is a highlight of the game's story.
Sorry, I'm just being stupid. I turned my brain off for too long. Maybe I still have a little electric shock rattling around in there.
I have trouble with Sonic Generations because I love that game, but it's the 2D aspect that I love and the kind of like love letter it is to Sonic, but I don't think the 3D-ish parts are that great. So to have it in a 3D ranking, it's like, yes, it is a 3D, but the good parts about it are the things of the superior 2D.
See, I actually really like the 3D elements of Sonic Generations. I think that it is there's only 2 games that use the boost formula that I think do it well, and it is this and Unleashed.
So
Yeah, I can
that's
agree with that.
funny you mentioned Unleashed because this game modders took the daytime stages from the 360 version of Unleashed and they ported it to a mod for Sonic Generations. So that was for me that was the first time I got to experience playing that version of it, and that was awesome, man. Like with the boosting and everything else with it, I think the 3D version of Sonic is really good for this game. And also Dream Team does boosting as well. It's not as long as Unleashed in this game, but it does do boosting as well.
I
Nick
like
says
that.
the only way to read a Kotaku article is to turn off the brain. You got a pretty fucking
you're
valid
right.
point.
Sorry,
Nick.
I'm losing. You're right. I'm losing brain cells just from having Kotaku's logo on the screen. I like this game a lot, but it's hard for me with Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania because I don't look at them as proper entries in the series. I look at them as celebrations of the things that we have. Because all it does is
I actually agree with you in that respect, 100%.
Exactly.
And
It
really,
just
Sonic
takes
Boom fans
everything.
asking, what's our opinion on the versions of Boom, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy? Well, I fucking hate what they did to Knuckles. Not just design. They made Knuckles a fucking idiot. Knuckles is not supposed to be an idiot. Knuckles is he's naive, he's gullible, but he's not an idiot. So fuck what they did to Knuckles. Tails is fine. Amy is hit or miss, and Sonic I've got no issues with.
We're talking about the cartoon specifically.
The cartoon.
I love if I look at the cartoon as a completely different thing. I think that the writing for that whole thing is hilarious, and the characters that come with it. But you're right. I don't think those are mainline Sonic. I think they're just a completely different canon.
Well, I think that the Sonic Boom cartoon is probably one of the best cartoons they've ever personally done. And I would say that this is a better sequel to Clone High than the Clone High revival. So if you're a fan of Clone High, go watch Sonic Boom. It's got the same comedy beats, but they do it way better delivery. I understand your complaints with Knuckles. I think it's kind of a simplistic way for them to write Knuckles, but I think it works well in the context of the cartoon. I think he kind of steals the show with Eggman. Like, those are my 2 characters. I'm like, this is great. Overall, like, I love all the characters.
Was right about feminism, though. Shaka Zulu. I completely agree with this statement.
There you go.
That
See what I mean?
between Knuckles and Amy when it came to feminism was fucking fire. It's like because you've got moments with Knuckles where he does shit like that, which I love, and then they've got moments where he's like continuously picking up the exploding fucking robots, and he keeps walking after them. And, look at this little duck! And I don't care if it's funny; it's not in character. Like,
it works so well in the show.
If you were to have Big the Cat do that, I'd be fine. But the fact that it's Knuckles annoys the shit out of me.
I think they do a great job of. Yes, I agree with you on the fact that Knuckles' writing doesn't make sense to what we know of him as a character. I think it works well for the show. I think that show overall does a really good job of writing all the characters.
Yeah, that show is so well written.
And Styx is awesome. I love her.
Are you gonna try and fight it? Well, I mean, I could try to fight it, but I don't think they'll take "gotta go fast" as a medical excuse.
All right, Sonic Adventure 2 coming in at number 2. All right, I will give you 2 minutes. You can rage. All right, Imp?
This is my favorite of the 3D Sonic games. I I have an almost 100% file on my GameCube. I have only have one more Chow Garden emblem to get because my little bastard can't beat the final guy in the final fight. I'm still working on that too. I come back to it on stream every once in a while.
I want a Chow Garden only game. I want that so fucking bad, dude.
Yes.
That would be
Oh my
an
God.
excellent mobile game for them to do.
I
Not even gonna
completely
lie.
agree. Like, no, whether it be Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2, nobody was asking for Pokemon Light in a Sonic game, but they gave it to us anyway. And frankly, I will take Chow Garden over the first 2 generations of Pokemon. I really will.
Sonic Gachi? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's the best addition to this kind of game that they could have asked for because it brings it up beyond being beyond like an 8 out of 10 to actually being like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I think this is the best. Absolutely, this is my favorite.
I mean, the problem, I know this is, especially in a Sonic discussion, gonna get me heat, but like 3D Sonics are just so janky in general
I
that
know.
like, yes, this should be like probably number 1 or 2. I mean, I think Sonic Adventure 1 should be beating this game. Personally, I know it
agree.
wins. I won't spoil it, but definitely the game that beat this doesn't deserve the spot it has. So in the context of this list, it makes me extremely angry. But like Sonic Adventure 2 it's a decent game, but I would say it's kind of like Mario 64 where you're fighting against the controls. And people love Mario 64. I love that game, but realistically, is it a great game? It's a good game. It's not a great
Yeah,
game.
Shaka Zulu says it best. The argument is Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2 are both 1 and 2, but which one goes where is but neither getting number 1. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Neither
Yeah.
getting number 1 and 2 are
Yeah.
this fucking Kotaku at their finest, everybody. And no, I don't watch shitty modern day Western American cartoons from like 2009 and onward. Sonic Boom fan.
Oh, Shaka Zulu's got it right. The last one. I think that
You
I
say
like
the Sonic Adventure 2 story is peak storytelling. I need you to say it. You know it's great.
For anyone that isn't aware, the Sonic Adventure 1 story is the end cap of all of the other games prior. The American manuals localized did not carry the story over, but every other Sonic game prior tells this massive story about the Chaos Emeralds, the Chaos Rings, an ancient civilization that was destroyed by their lust for power and the calamity that befell them as a result of trying to harness that power. That power, of course, being chaos. Because that's exactly what happens. The gods themselves separated the Chaos Emeralds and spread them across the islands. And then every time that they were
real
gathered,
quick, Amp, you haven't played Frontiers, have you?
I have not played Frontiers.
Frontiers brings all that lore back. That's another major
Nice.
plus for Frontiers. Frontiers is basically the sequel to Sonic Adventure.
Okay, all right. I will definitely play that again at some point.
I will say you do not know that if you play through the main story. What the game does is there's Eggman files hidden throughout the game that you have to unlock through. And when you go through all the Eggman files, you will slowly understand why it's. I'm not going to explain why, but you will slowly understand why it's the sequel to Sonic Adventure.
So they go the Dark Souls route with that. I'm okay with that. That's great. I love
you
ambient
get
storytelling.
one little hint in the middle of the game with some stuff to do with Knuckles, and other than that, it's all done through files.
Yeah, but like every single game, especially once you start getting to games with more active storytelling, it all tells that story. And all of the Japanese manuals tell bits and pieces of that story. They talk about the collapse, the calamity, the rings, and how all of that comes together. And Sonic Adventure 1 is the end cap for that story. And Sonic Adventure 2 is the start of another new story, which is really where a lot of people missed out because a lot of American fans never saw in any of that original story. They just saw Sonic Adventure.
Also, real quick, Shaka Zulu, this isn't a theory. This is actually how it plays out in the Japanese version. The American version just localized it poorly. But yes, it's actually factual that Gerald Robotnik saw the Chaos Memorials, and that's how he came up with the idea for. That's why you fight those like imperfect chaos beings in the at the Space Colony arc.
Yeah, that's right.
Boom, Shaka Zulu nailed it. Numero uno. Sonic Heroes. What's your guys' thoughts?
This was a fun game. I actually enjoyed it, but again, like you're fighting against the controls. They were trying something unique and weird, and I don't think it panned out the way they were expecting it. But generally speaking, I think this is a fun game. It is probably 4th or 5th on my list.
this ranking is bullshit because if you want to call Sonic Heroes number 1, but you had Shadow the Hedgehog at 14, when they literally control the exact fucking same.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes,
this is
yeah.
the problem. How are you like? That's why I said it's such a normie opinion that they're like, oh, well, Shadow the Hedgehog. Everyone notoriously knows that game wasn't well received, therefore it's not high on our list. Sonic Heroes had similar problems, but guess what? Everyone remembers Sonic Heroes in a better light. I love this game. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's not number 1. There's no way.
No,
There's
It's
no
top
way.
5. I will give
I'm right
you
there with
top
you.
5. But it's not number 1.
I give it 5. I'd easily give it 5, maybe 6 at the worst.
And it was really fun. You got to play so many different characters in it. The
Yeah.
environments looked good. Like there's not like a huge thing to complain about this game besides the jank that you're working with, which is in like every 3D game in Sonic, but it's definitely not a number 1. I think I agree with Imp. It's a 5.
Yeah, fucking T-Gap is right. Leon. You're calling a ranking on Kotaku bullshit? Say it ain't so. Like, Sonic Heroes best opening theme in all of Sonic. I think that it is top 3. I think that Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, those are also some really fucking strong openings. To me, I treat Sonic Heroes as the unofficial Sonic Adventure 3 because it continues that story. I get what you're saying about Adventure being the end cap, and that, to be fair, Sonic Adventure 2 and 3 loop back to Adventure so much in terms of story that to me they're basically their own little trilogy.
I actually agree with you there. But like, can I just be real? I completely look at the music in these games completely separate from the games themselves, because the production value and the music is such a different beast. Like all of these games, I think
almost all the best Sonic games are basically their own like platinum albums with a video game attached.
Yes,
exactly,
100%.
It is expected even now of like fan games that the games have to have excellent music, if not just like a really good music in some way. That is the standard that this is all set.
I truly like when talking about video game music, the 2 franchises that I think leaps and bounds beat out every single other video game out there is Sonic and Zelda. Those are the 2, in my opinion, best when it comes to compositions, music. No series will ever top those 2 in terms of the music we get out of those games.
I'll shill again for Pizza Tower's music. I'm gonna link that in the private chat for you. But 100%, like if you like video game music, you've got to give that a chance. It's definitely, in that regard, it's still definitely the best Sonic fan game out there.
Yeah, sounds good. I will absolutely check it out after the stream. Alrighty, so we've gone over there Kotaku's bullshit. So now it is time to rank every 3D Sonic game. We have got God tier, A, B, C, F, and Deviant Art Sonic fan tier.
Okay. All right, I'm down.
These are, so now it is time. Chat, I want you to get involved in this as well. We will obviously, the 4 of us going to be having our opinions, but I will take what you guys have say into consideration. Let us start with because it's fun. Now I've got some on here that were not on the list, like Sonic Free Riders and Sonic Riders and shit, because those are technically, they're in 3D, and I just wanted to talk about those games. But let's start with Sonic Riders, just because it seems like a fun one to start with. I want everyone's thoughts. Let's go.
Well, I just actually picked it up recently, and I've been replaying through it. Man, I have a lot of good memories playing that game. But it is a racing game, so like it's hard to put it on this list. It's Sonic, but it's a Sonic racing game. I think it's better than the Wii version. At least the controls seem a little bit better. I would probably put it.
Well, this game didn't come out on Wii.
No. No, that's what I'm saying. My bad. This is the GameCube one. Zero Gravity is the Wii version, or the Wii. Yeah, that one it's okay, but the GameCube one, the controls are a little bit better. I mean, they're not motion controls, obviously, so they're a little bit tighter. I wouldn't put it higher than C, because it's
so
just
real quick. But before we give our rank, I should specify how we're ranking these games. All encompassing. We're talking about the story quality, the gameplay, the music. I want everything that comes standard with the game to be taken into account when you do your ranking. So like if a game has a great story but dog shit gameplay, that dog shit gameplay doesn't necessarily mean it's an F, or if the story complements enough to be worth. So basically just take everything into consideration. But so now continue.
So is B considered average, or would C be average on this list?
High C, low B are both about average. I mean, like it's really just going to depend on what the conclusion we all come to pending discussion.
Well, for me, it has average music. It has average gameplay. Story's probably slightly better because it takes place in like some futuristic timeline or whatever. But that it would be high C for me based off of those 3 marks.
Okay. I actually also was thinking C personally. Let's see, someone else in the chat, who was it? Someone said, also Jason Vjet. Yeah, I love Jason's VA for Jet. I love Jet. Jet's such a fun character. Shaka Zulu says C tier. I like it. Yeah, I do as well. Frankly, I was gonna go C. Melee, do you have thoughts? And Imp, I know that you're not the 3D Sonic guy, so you might not, but
well, actually, I have played Sonic Riders.
Okay.
I own this one. I owned this as a kid. I actually like it. The story is not the best. Of course, it's not the best, but it's as a spin-off game. I actually thought this was fun. It's just a matter of getting used to the controls because it's not exactly Mario Kart. The controls are vastly different. And it's interesting, but I've beaten it. It was a lot of fun. I definitely give this like a mid C, maybe a high C.
So also, I want to get a touch autistic here for a moment. There's something so special about this story for me because I don't know about you guys. Does anybody here have a favorite 7 wonder of the world? Or is it just me? Am I just the one fucking
It might be just you.
My favorite of the 7 wonders of the world is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And the fact that this game is all about finding the treasure within the Babylon Gardens, my favorite, that immediately puts it high on my list story-wise, just because I feel represented. How often do you fucking get stories about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the world? And to do that in a Sonic game, I was like, all right, let's go.
I'm gonna get heat for this. I think sometimes this game feels better than All Stars Transformed, which I know is the beloved racer that everyone loves from Sonic.
All right.
I need to play that one still.
I mean, yeah, music didn't stand out for me at all. Storyline-wise, you added that tidbit, and I think that bumps it up for me because I didn't even realize that was a thing. I didn't look into the story of this game because it's a racing game. I'm a bit of a spurg when it comes to the racers in general because I just don't understand why they wouldn't run instead of using all these other things that they can use. It's like you're so fast at running. Why are you using any vehicles or anything? Just run, please.
I mean, they do give you the shadow skate shoes so you can run if you beat the game, and
that's the closest thing.
You can also get Supersonic. The fact that Supersonic itself is a playable board for you to race on is awesome.
Yes, that is awesome.
It was a really unique take on the whole thing, and like the varied, like being able to play as the Babylon Rogues was really neat. Honestly, I thought it was a fun game. Like all sides.
It's a low B, high C for me personally.
I can get there.
I'm good with C.
All right, we'll drop Sonic Frontiers or Sonic Riders, in the C tier. Okay, let's move on to something like, let's do Sonic Colors next. Let's go for it. Let's go with Sonic Colors.
I don't like Sonic Colors. I'll just say it right now. Nothing about that game stands out to me. I loved the comment earlier about it being a Kirby game. It's a Kirby game, but it's a really bad Kirby game.
I put it in F tier. I really will. I know people love this game. I don't know why people love this game.
I don't get why people love it.
I think the music's really good in the game. But that's the only saving grace for it.
To me, musically, and you might be correct. To me, it's like the least memorable music-wise.
Yeah.
I've got a. Which one is it? One of the songs on this game is actually on my personal Spotify playlist. I think it's Aquarium Park Act 2. It's actually got. I love the music in most of the Sonic games. I think in terms of music, this one probably doesn't stand out because it's just like an 8 out of 10 rather than a 10 out of 10.
Fair enough. I make that argument with like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. That like Crystal Skull is not actually bad. It's just a C. And when all the other movies in your franchise are an A, it makes a C look like an F. So I get what you mean. Also, R2-D2. That game is on the list. We will get
careful about mentioning that because you'll trigger James's autism in the chat.
Oh my dude, I'm an ardent Crystal Skull apologist. I think it's a C, solid C tier movie, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah, it's certainly not Last Crusade or Raiders of the Lost Ark, but
Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite movie of all time. So
exactly.
That Army of Darkness, they go back and forth.
I would give this one. I'm excited to try this one, but from the stuff I have seen and the gameplay segments in generations, I'd give this one a low C. I almost wish there was like a middle, like a D tier here, but
Nah, it needs to go in the F bin. Garbage.
Well,
I'm
high F.
I'm gonna say like
High F, I would.
a D minus. Okay.
No.
Canadian, what do you think? Because
Trash.
obviously I want to know what the chat thinks as well about Sonic Colors because we could end up getting outvoted, but I'm with Melee K in the F tier on this one. Angry, let us know.
For me, the biggest selling point is the music. I know you guys didn't think it's memorable. I think the gameplay is like pretty bad in a lot of more of the game than it should be. Especially the final boss. The final boss is atrocious in this game. Story wise, it's mid. So I would put it high F tier, at least higher on the F tier, because there's some really bad F tier games. So I would put it high F.
Okay, and real quick, Elvis CG. So I actually did think about adding the All Stars racing games, but in my mind, they were like the Smash Bros for Sega racing. They're not. I could be, but like I look at those games, they're not really Sonic games. They are Sega racing games.
Thank you.
That's how I look at
Thank
the
you.
All-Stars game.
I could get down.
Well,
with
actually,
that.
it's
Time
called.
someone
Isn't
said
it
that.
called Sega Sonic
It's-
All-Star Racing or
yeah,
something like
Sega
that?
and
Sega
Sonic,
in the title. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is their version of Mario Kart. Mario Kart isn't even Mario Kart anymore because you could play as like an Inkling, you could play as Zelda, or sorry, you could play as Link. What if Zelda was a girl? Right? Sorry. No. I at some point it starts to kind of bleed away from the original intent, and the fact that you can play as like TF2 characters on the Steam version of Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing is just kind of like a point against that. I get it now.
Yeah, Elvis CG says that's fair. Does Mario Kart get removed from best Mario games? I would remove the modern Mario. Like, if you want to like throw Double Dash on there or something, or like Mario Kart 64, I would include those because they were strictly Mario. But yeah, I wouldn't put modern Mario Kart games on Mario list. No, I wouldn't for the exact same reason as what Imp just said.
Leon,
Mario Kart
you're the
still has Mario
first
on the name,
person.
still Mario.
You're the first person to ever agree with me on this. Thank you.
I'm
You know
happy
how
to
much
do it.
I think Mario Kart 8 is slop. I think it's terrible. And
It
yeah,
really
I
gets
agree.
more praise than it should. Like to
Yes.
me, the game peaked at Double Dash, but Mario Kart Wii was also really good.
I love Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart 64, but
All right, now I'm getting tilted here.
Yeah, you should be. I'm always the one that has to get tilted on this. It's about time someone else does.
Colors going F tier, baby. Alrighty, so let's do one of the Unleashed versions. Well, let's do the 360 PS3 version of Unleashed.
I can't
like
speak to this
that-
one well because I did the Wii one. I didn't play this one. So.
I'm the same way. I do like that apparently the 360 and PS3 version has an additional ranking screen that has its own unique music. It actually has an F rank music for when you complete
Yes, it
that
does. It's
poorly.
got the sour notes playing. It's really
it's got-
funny.
Exactly. It's got all the sour notes. It's amazing.
This game is it's fine. The Wii version, it's like what Leon said. Like both of them have their like pluses and minuses, so it's like you can almost throw both of them in the middle. The thing that annoys me though is a lot of the game's content is locked behind DLC for the 360 version. There's like 4
Real
or
quick,
5.
I made a massive mistake, and I just want to Cthulhu loves you. If you're still watching, I accidentally muted you when I went to mute a spam bot on Rumble. I've unmuted you. I've muted the spam bot. I don't know if don't think that I was trying to slight you or anything like that. Just the spam bot sent a message right as I went to click mute, and it popped your name up because. So if you can see this, let me know if you're unmuted. That was a massive mistake on my end because of Rumble. Rumble is worse than fucking Twitter when it comes to their bots and whatnot. So Cthulhu loves you. If you hear this, just type a message. Let me know you're there. Let me know that you're unmuted and that everything is working again. I completely apologize. All right, sorry guys, continue.
Yeah, I was saying like what I mentioned earlier. The daytime stages in this version are amazing. The Werehog stages really drag this game down. So, and you play majority of the game as Werehog Sonic. The final boss is really good. The gameplay for the final boss, the 2 stages or 2 parts of it are really good. And I think the soundtrack, it's one of my favorites of the 3D Sonic soundtracks. It's hard. I would play low.
Sonic Boom fan. Giving it a 9 out of 10 doesn't help us when the rankings are not out of 10. So if you want to give a ranking, absolutely go for it. But the rankings are on screen, buddy. Sorry, guys. Continue.
I would put it low B, And then I would put the Wii version maybe higher up, or like above this one in the B tier.
So I was also thinking B for this one. I mean the music in this one. First of all, my second favorite band of all time is Bowling for Soup, and to get the lead singer of Bowling for Soup and then the guitars for Crush 40 together, which is another one of my favorite bands together, to do the fucking theme. I think the theme song to this is amazing. The intro cinematic is arguably top 3 most iconic intro cinematics in Sonic history. The game, when you're during the day, I have the same thoughts as everybody else. It's a great daytime stages. The Werehog levels are a fucking slog. There's I also don't mind Chip. I know a lot of people don't like Chip. I don't mind Chip. So yeah, I would say B for this as well.
I will say the Werehog stages, the music is really good for those stages, but like everyone knows the gameplays like we're really struggling.
I love that jazzy Werehog music. I really do.
Dude,
so.
Lo-fi as well. Some of the stages are lo-fi.
Yeah, I
Link
could get down with that
everything
ranking.
is an F except for Sonic 1, 3, and Adventure 1 and 2. Oh, Frankie boy, you went for a ride, buddy. Appreciate you showing up. You're one of those Sonic haters. I can respect it. I can genuinely, I disagree, but I can genuinely appreciate classic Sonic fans. They're like, no, everything after Sonic Adventure 2 is dog shit. Like, I like those Sonic fans, even though I'm not one of them. So by all means, go off, son.
I think it's a general rule of thumb, but there are some exceptions that come afterwards.
I give a lot of points to Sonic Spinball, but I'm that
we'll
weird
get to
jackass.
06, Jacob. No worries, we'll get to 06.
We'll get to those. Yeah, I could get down with the rankings in agreement. I need to play this one at some point if I can find it somewhere. I've played the Wii version of this game though, so we'll see.
All right, so we will give the 360 version a B tier. I think that's pretty fair. Let's go with, let's see. We'll do 3D Blast, since again, I don't even think it should be on this list. But it was on the Kotaku list, so I will let you guys go first thoughts, and we'll go from there. Also, apparently Spinball is top 10 for Shaka Zulu. Nice.
Yeah,
yes, BioWare did do a Sonic game, and my God,
Sonic and the Dark Brotherhood.
It's
Sonic Chronicles, the Dark Brotherhood.
The story is fine, but my God, the gameplay of that game is atrocious.
Fun fact about that almost got Sega sued for copyright infringement.
Really?
Yeah. What is his name? Ken Penders, the creator of the Arch comics.
Oh, dude, fuck that asshole. We're over an hour into the stream. I'll say fuck that faggot.
Yeah, he brought Sega to court for copyright infringement over one of their original characters that was really important to the story, and they dragged it out for so long that it passed the statute of limitations, and that is the exclusive reason why we will never see another Sonic Chronicles game again.
Well, not only so, Ken Penders, the absolute piece of shit cocksucker that he is. First of all, he wrote some because I was gonna save the Sonic comics talk for later because I'm a big fan of the Sonic comics. Ken Penders is the worst thing to ever happen to the Sonic comics. He was putting all sorts of weird fucking furry fetish shit in there. He was like making these Sonic comics like overtly sexual, at least overtly sexual for the age range that was supposed to be reading Sonic comics. He would do and then after he left, he sued Sega for the exclusive character rights to all the characters that he created, even though they're just fucking palette swap skins of existing characters. So we'll never get to see dope ass characters like Scourge in Sonic games, or we'll never get to see like so many of the badass Echidna Clan members in the Sonic games just because, oh, Ken Penders created them. No, you didn't. You drew Knuckles and then gave him like necklaces, or you drew Knuckles and gave him a hat. Like all this shit. It's fucking Knuckles. You literally swap. You insane fucking faggot. I hate this motherfucker.
Ken Penders created original the character Do Not Steal. No, there was also the moment when there's a delay, Jacob. Like everything you hear us say is gonna be about 10-15 seconds later. Yeah, dude. You probably just heard me go the fuck off. Yes, absolutely. Well, and then there's also the panel where he tried to make Sonic cry, like bawling his eyes out, and Sega came down on him and said, no, absolutely not. Sonic does not cry. Don't ever do that again.
I love Sally Acorn, Shadow. I think Sally Acorn is my, like, I know that people who ship Sonic characters are fucking weird. I'll admit to being one of those weirdos. Sally X Sonic. I love that ship.
That's a funny way of saying bunny.
I don't want to see them in any fucking weird ass sexual situations because Kim Pender's like writing that shit. But like, I don't give a fuck if Sonic has a girlfriend, and if Sonic has a girlfriend, I want it to be Sally Acorn. Amy can get fucked. I love Amy. She's actually my second favorite Sonic character. But when it comes to relationship.
How is she your second favorite Sonic character? She's the worst.
What? Oh, see, now we
I
got.
hate Amy, man.
Oh, here
I
it
love
comes.
Amy, dude. Amy's
Here
my
comes the
second favorite
autism.
Sonic character.
Oh god, I find Amy so annoying. I want to hear all about this love for Amy.
I
This
actually
is
like
shocking.
Amy as a character, but I
No.
genuinely like the idea of keeping Amy and Sonic as separate because
I
I
agree.
like this idea that Amy is this like she was saved by Sonic once upon a time, and now she's this super obsessed fangirl that just wants Sonic to notice her so she can marry him. That is the best interpretation in my head for how those two characters should interact. 100%.
So maybe my love for Amy admittedly comes from the comics because Amy is just an annoying fucking stan until she finally comes to the realization that Sonic not gonna bang her, and she ends up becoming an actual legitimate character. She leads the Freedom Fighters at one point. She's like a battle strategist. She's everything. Like when modern Hollywood tries to write, a strong female character, and they fail every time, what they need to be doing is looking at the Sonic comics and read Amy and see how she's portrayed in those books, and then you will see an actual well-done, strong female character that has grown and that has developed and was a completely useless piece of shit and then actually overcame things to become a viable member of the team.
No, not allowed. No. Not
So
allowed at all.
she, to me, is similar to like Sakura from Naruto. Like I feel the same about
Yeah,
both of them.
so
where it's, like, super
it took
obnoxious.
Sakura way longer, which is why I don't like Sakura near as much. But yeah, very similar character arc, completely useless, then finally eventually goes on to be worth something. Only unlike Sakura, who could never hang with Naruto and Sasuke, no matter how badass she got. Amy can actually fucking throw down with the boys eventually, and I can dig it. And she has shit she can't do. She can't run as fast. She can't, fight off hordes of dudes. But what she can do is she can gather teams. She can gather intel. She can do like covert stuff. She can fight, just not to the extent as the others. Like she's got good skill sets, mostly her charisma-based skill sets, and they work for her.
Yeah, but have you seen the size of that mallet? I'd be scared too.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. Princess Sally is cool. Amy Rose is creepy. Lol. I played Sonic CD in the Jim's collection. Came out. No, I love Sonic CD. I played Sonic CD back in the day, back in like, I don't know, the 90s when it came out. I love Sonic CD.
I have the Jim's collection. I love it. I love
all
the
right,
Jim's collection.
We got on top of that for a moment, though. We were talking about 3D Blast. Where are we ranking 3D Blast?
I
think
like 3D Blast. I would place it at a high C myself. I know a lot of people like that. That's weird, but when you start it's like when you start getting used to how the controls should feel, and you stop like trying to jump and stuff. Like stop trying to jump at enemies. Just use the dash button when you're running to roll into them. It's a much easier way to kill things. Once you start getting used to perspective and getting used to the jumps and stuff, it's actually really interesting and fun. The music is actual 10 out of 10. I think it's got one of the best lava world themes in all of gaming. I think that it's actually really fantastic. And it's got a lot of jank moments, but 3D Sonic is nothing but jank 90% of the time.
I don't know how you go that far, but Shadow, you make a good point. I should have put Sonic the Fighters on this list. It is a 3D arena fighter a la Soul Calibur, and it's bad, but I like it. So maybe we'll talk about
love
Sonic
that
the Fighters
game.
a little bit. Like
It's a
you
good
like
game.
it too?
Yeah.
I like Sonic the Fighters. If this is true, I've loved the first two Sonic movies. I watched all of Knuckles last night in case we talked about it on the show today because I hadn't seen it yet. And if this is true, I will disavow Sonic 3. If Sonic is sipping for Amy, fuck that. That is no. But I'm not gonna get upset about something that hasn't happened.
I assume
yet,
that's
so
a joke though, because that's how modern writing is, right? I don't know
you
if that's
say that,
proven
but
whatsoever.
Sonic Fan has said some very questionable shit in pretty much every stream that he's ever been a part of when he comes to me. Like he said on last stream, unironically, he wanted Amy to be a girl boss in Sonic 3. And he wasn't joking. So
No, okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I plead the fifth on this. I hope that doesn't happen in the third movie. That would just be like
that would
as
be
stupid
awful.
as
Yes.
like Peter Parker and the whole thing in Spider-Man 2. Anyways.
Yep, I completely
Yeah.
agree. So we think a high C for Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
It's a weird list to compare because 3D
Mm.
Blast it just doesn't fit in with the rest of these at all.
I'm right there with you. Higher or lower than Riders? I would go lower than Riders personally.
Oh, interesting. I would go higher than Riders, but
Really?
I'm not,
Okay.
like,
I mean, I could be
too-
overruled by all means. I could be overruled.
I
Imp
don't
would
have
be
like too
best.
compelling of an argument for it. Besides, I really like the soundtrack on this game, so
Sorry,
that
Matt.
alone boosts it up.
Sorry,
I
missed
can't really
something.
comment on this because I haven't played this one, so Imp would probably have to break the tie here.
Where are we tied between?
Higher, or it's going to go high C, but is it higher or lower than Riders?
I personally think it's higher than Riders.
All right, well, you and
yeah.
Melee K have me outvoted. Fair enough.
All right.
3D Blast, Genesis, lower tier, Saturn, slightly higher.
Yeah.
Dang, no love for Riders. No. To be fair, we do like Riders. It's just there's so many good Sonic games that Riders has a bit of an average quality to it when you average everything out. But no,
I would actually say if you want to play Sonic 3D Blast, there is a mod for the Steam Genesis Mega Collection version that it adds a lot of different things. Like it adds Supersonic, it adds it's essentially a director's cut edition. If you get this on Steam, then you can look that up. It's really interesting because it adds a lot of quality of life.
See, I haven't downloaded it, but I watched a really cool YouTube video about the Steam ports and what it does for Sonic 3D Blast. So
yeah, it's actually really neat.
Sonic Forces next. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Sonic fucking Forces.
Literal DeviantArt Sonic.
Yes.
It's literally that. Like
100%.
I made this
Build-A-Bear Sonic.
Yeah, you made that tier with this.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of
might as
discussion.
well just call that tier Sonic Forces.
No, I like DeviantArt.
There might be one other game that I think also deserves this tier, which is why but yes, DeviantArt tier.
You know what I mean, though? It's like, it is the definition of that category. But I get why some people might like it. I'm not one of those people that built the OCs back in the day, so.
I definitely was. And you know what?
The most I ever did was like learn how to draw Sonic proper, but my goal was always to like draw him as accurate as possible. I'm not a person that draws at all, but for some reason when I was younger, I was like, I want to draw him as accurately as he should look. So, but none of this like original like characters or any of that. So Forces to me is just even more grating.
Yeah, Sonic original the character Do Not Steal is still my favorite go-to when I talk about OCs and shit. And this game is just exemplifies that.
Right. Now, I'm kind of in the mood to debate, so we're going to do Sonic 06 next. I was going to save it for near the end, but I think a nice here in the kind of middle. I think the last chat wants to hear about that, so let's do Sonic 06. Where would we put Sonic 06 on this list?
This is actually the next one that I want to play for my Sonic retrospective. It really is. So
I've got some thoughts for you, but I'll wait to hear what everyone else has to say, and then I'll jump in like an asshole when I feel like I need to tell you you're wrong. Let's go.
Go ahead, Kay.
I don't mind this game at all. I think this is more decent than people will say it is. I think it's better than Sonic Forces. I think it's better than Sonic Colors. Now we're getting to Sonic Riders, and I kind of go, okay, well, some parts in the Sonic 06 story were very interesting. It's a very memeable game. It doesn't run properly at all.
I love the story of Sonic 06. I'm gonna be real. I fucking love the story.
That's the stellar part of this game, in my opinion. I think with a little more polish, they could have made this a really great game. I tend to say that like Frontiers is almost like what they were trying to do in some senses.
Now, have you played the version of the game with more polish?
I haven't. I've played the original like game.
So there's the thing,
version?
and I'm going to. I don't give a fuck if you guys allow this or not. My show, so we're doing it. There is this thing that you can download called Sonic Project 06. And what it is a dude rebuilt all the levels from this game from the ground up so that it plays the way it was supposed to. No glitches or anything to that effect. Now, it only does the levels. You cannot play through the whole story, but each character has like fucking 10, 15 levels, whatever it is, and you can do it for Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. So my recommendation for folks is always play the game, or at least get as far into it as you can if you just cannot handle how buggy and broken it is. If you can't do that, at least watch all the cutscenes to get the story. Then if you play the levels from Sonic 06, or from Sonic Project 06, it unfortunately doesn't have any of the open world adventure field stuff that like what Sonic Adventure had.
But I love that part of the game.
I do too, and unfortunately the good version doesn't have that. But I am considering, I'm taking Project 06 into consideration when I rank this because I've been able to physically experience how the game was supposed to play. And dude, I'm telling you, it was an A. I'm telling you, Sonic 06 could have been an A. And because the Sonic Project 06 mod is completely free and you can download it for free and play all the levels of Silver, Sonic, and Shadow for fucking free on a PC, yeah, I got no problem including it. I've done it. I love it. I have it on my PC. I play it all the time. Sonic 06 is A tier.
Oh, I don't know if I can
Now,
go
you
A
guys can
tier
argue
this
with that, and that's
game.
fair, and we might change the ranking, but that is what I'm saying.
I would say, I would personally say I would rather kind of go off the original version. And I know there's a lot of jank, right? Like, the biggest thing that I have against a game like this is the loading screens, because it takes away from so much of your time, especially for some gamers that are not as good. Like, I guarantee my first time through, especially at the start, like if I run into big jank or something like that, I'm going to end up running into those load screens a lot. And I from what I've seen, I know this is multiple campaigns for multiple characters, and you have a lot of long stuff going on. I'd say like with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, the fact that there's multiple characters is great, because you can kind of just go along. There's not huge load screens, and it's very varied in how it approaches the different the amount of content you have. But this is just, it's too similar, and there's a lot of jank in it. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to be leaning towards a low C, or even like as high as a low B. I'm looking forward to playing this myself, but I'm gonna go with that to start.
Shout out, I'll address this comment in a moment, but first I'm going to address this one, because he says the thing I would change about 06, Amy should be the one to kiss Sonic, not Ellie. Now, that's, first of all, we're going to squash this whole, oh, Sonic was kissed by a human to bring him back to life. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't get why people give a fuck about that. Y'all grew up reading The Frog Prince, where the princess kisses a frog and he turns into a fucking handsome valiant knight or whatever. Like, that has been a tenet in fairy tales and Disney movies and all that growing up our whole lives. For whatever reason, in a Sonic game, it's so weird that a human princess kisses an anthropomorphized hedgehog to instill her magic power in him to bring him back to life when he's dead. It's such a ridiculous, pedantic argument that is I cannot stand hearing. It's not like Sonic was like, after the game, ran off and started fucking banging this princess. Like, oh no, princess used magic power to kiss a character, bring him back to life, like we've seen in fairy tales for hundreds of fucking years. It's such a ridiculous, stupid argument. I don't get why people have an issue with it.
I just think it's memeable. Like
memeable, sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
but there are people who call the game bad because of that. They call it like furry porn or whatever. Bro, it's a fantasy trope that we have seen time and time again.
I think it's the timing, honestly, and I talk about it regularly. Kay and I think Angry Canadian too all know my opinion on like how 2007 was the end of the world as we know it, because everything had just happened all at the same time. Around that time frame, we had smartphones, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, 4chan's first real entry into public awareness, The Big Bang Theory, and a major economic downturn, all at the same time, within the same year and a half, roughly. So it only makes sense that Sonic 06, which would be coming big into prominence around that time, would also be one of the first major things that the internet as a whole would be seeing. And of course, you have a very high definition human character and kissing an unconscious hedgehog, and it's just like, wait, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Now, not unconscious, dead. he's dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Are you blaming Sonic 06 for the fall of the West? Is that what we're doing?
No, the other way around. I'm blaming the fall of the West for Sonic 06. Let's go.
So now I'll address this one. Fan games and projects seem unfair because that would fix every game on the list. They all have mods that fix everything. Now, normally I would agree with this argument. Here is why I'm making the exception for Sonic 06. Because normally, whether it be Sonic games or otherwise, when games are shit, a lot of times it's due to absolute incompetence on the part of the developers or whatnot. Or in this instance, the developers knew what they were doing. They had a game they were trying to make. And Sega wanted out for Sonic's 15th anniversary. The programmers and developers were saying this game won't be ready. We have a year and a half more work to do. And Sega higher ups, the money men who have no control over how the game is actually made, said, fuck you, put it out anyway. So the reason this game I give a pass in terms of using Project 06 is because this is the game we would have gotten from the programmers if the money man at the top didn't get their way. This has nothing to do with an incompetence on the game making level. It has to do with incompetence on the actual release, the incompetence of the money men up top at Sega. I think that's why I'm using Project 06 and considering it fair game for this ranking.
And I can agree with that.
I'm glad you're addressing that because I was going to come to defense on you for this one. The reason being is that if we were ranking Star Wars games and KOTOR 2 is in the conversation, I would bring up the restoration mod because that completes the game and that completely changes how good that game is. I agree that like you can fix games with fan mods and whatever, and it's not always like a good argument because it's a completely different game sometimes. But in like rush development cycles where they just didn't get the chance to pump out the game they wanted to, and people find certain assets in it or sharpen it up to make it what it actually was intended to be, I think there is an argument for it. I think with Sonic 06 you have an argument. With KOTOR 2 is where I would put my foot down and have an argument and say no, we should consider it with the restoration mod.
I can understand that. I can agree with that.
So now again, it doesn't necessarily need to be A, because I know I think I might be the only one on the panel here who's played Project 06, and if you guys think A is too high, that's totally fair. I want to make my position on it clear that this wasn't we have seen Sega do some incompetency in their programming before. This wasn't that. We've seen all companies do it, but this wasn't that. This was people at the top being fucking retarded. Because if Sonic 06 had come out a year and a half later, like the programmers and developers wanted, this would still be looked at as this would be looked at as one of the best Sonic games ever made.
Yeah, and that brings up the question for me. I mean, when I do go to finally play this, then would you actually recommend playing this mod? Because I kind of want to take the chance to play it on my 360 just to experience the jank. But
that's why I told you
just try it out.
Like I would say play the original, because you are missing using the mod. You're not getting cutscenes. You're not getting the open world parts of the game, or at least the more open part. It's literally just the levels, all the levels from the three main characters, and the side bits where you play as like Rouge or Tails or whatnot. So for people that want to experience the story, for some folks the game is so broken they cannot get through it. And if you run into that issue, at least watch all the cutscenes on YouTube, get an idea for the story. But yeah, try the original first. That way you have especially you don't know how good Project 06 is until you realize how fucking broken the original Sonic 06 was. Like you will just be running and fall through the floor. That's such a there are parts of the floor that are not programmed to work. It is so rushed.
You know what's a funny idea? I could potentially just play through the game on the mod and then just be like, oh, hey, here's a cutscene, and then just play the cutscene off like YouTube or something. That'd be a thing.
Is Sonic for straight people too?
No.
It used to be. It used to be, and then DeviantArt happened, and now Sonic is for Chris Chan and all the other fucking homos. But we're looking
have you seen Rouge?
That's true. Yes, okay. I'll give you that.
I'm not at an A, Leon. There's just no way.
I would say high B or mid to low B. Depends on the other games we put into the B tier.
If we're going to include the mod, I'd probably go mid B tier.
I can say, like, I don't know, with 3D Blast, can I really say that Sonic 06 is better than 3D Blast? Like, that's what's hurting me.
Yeah. If we're going exclusively by the original, it's going to be low C, if not high F. But this would be the use case for the D tier. That's where I'm at.
So Shaka Zulu, yes, I completely agree with you. It is rough being a Sonic fan. And all the problems with the game's glitching and whatnot aside, dude, people don't realize, like go watch the cutscenes on YouTube and you're like, holy shit, this came out 18 years ago. The game has aged beautifully visually, and the music is top tier. Like the game is a visual treat, and when it comes to the cutscenes, it's like it looks like a Final Fantasy game. It really does. And I think that's some people don't like that. They don't like Sonic, that art style. That fair enough. That's a subjective thing if you don't like Final Fantasy-esque Sonic. But in terms of just the quality of how well it's aged, you can't deny that it has not aged fantastic.
No, oh yeah, absolutely.
I could concede for a B, I think.
I could do that, like a low B if we're including the mod. But I always I talk about this when I simped for Final Fantasy VIII. Music and graphics are part of production value that I think they should be considered separate of the
I
actual
agree.
quality of a game and its gameplay, which is why I struggle to defend Final Fantasy VIII sometimes, not always. I think that took like unique turns
I
and
like
tries, but
8, but I think it's the weakest of the PS3 trilogy. But I still
yeah,
like
absolutely,
it.
100%. Like,
And frankly, my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time is Tactics, which I think is better than all three on all three of the main PS3 trilogy. So
I'd say 6, which I think K is you. I don't know how you feel about 6. I forget.
Final Fantasy 6, I
is
think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 is in my top 5. It's probably number 3, give or take. My list usually goes Tactics, 9, 6, 15, 10. And yeah, I do like 15. I will defend that game till the cows come home.
Okay.
All right, we will take Sonic 06 and we will go low B. We'll put it below Unleashed. I think that is fair.
Yeah.
Give it fair.
Let's do Sonic and the Black Knight, since I know the Canadian loves that game.
Oh yes, now you're speaking my language here.
I would almost consider that like in terms of I would say, if given how you guys are talking about Sonic and the Secret Rings, I played this one. I hated. I don't like it. It felt horrible to play. The weird item, this whatever, just felt awful to play. The controls were stiff and really bad. The bosses were complete nonsense to me. I did not like this game at all. I would rather get struck by lightning a second time than replay this game.
God damn. All right, fair enough. And he's not joking, by the way, Chad. We were talking about this backstage. Homie really was struck by lightning. We might play the clip later, depending on our time constraints. So yeah, if you as someone who's actually been struck by lightning, like, are you being genuine that like the lightning strike was a better experience than Sonic and the Black Knight?
I would rather be struck by lightning a second time on stream again, and risk blowing up my GameCube a second time than play that game again.
You don't think there's anything redeemable about this game? I love that they tried to make a hack and slash.
I
love
like,
that they gave him a sword. I think it's cool.
Some of the ideas, but it was poorly executed.
Most of the Sonic games are poorly executed. Let's be real.
They're all built off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me just find that video so you have it queued up. If
I would say objectively, this game, based off of all the other games we have here and what we're going to get into later, has to be under either under or above Sonic Colors. I like the game, but I know what we're getting into. Like, it's not like creme of the creme. So the music's really good. You've got Night of the Wind as an opening song.
Dude, as someone who's never played this game, Night of the Wind is on my playlist. I think that's one of Crush 40's best Sonic songs. Now, to be fair, Crush 40 has got so many great songs that have no correlation to Sonic. Like, if you guys ever want to listen to just good, like, Crush 40's got music that, believe it or not, doesn't tie to Sonic. And I honestly think that some of their best work is their non-Sonic stuff. My favorite Crush 40 song has no correlation. But as far as Sonic songs go, Night of the Wind is one of my favorite by him. And I've never even played this game. So
I assume you're talking about songs like Firewoman.
Well, Firewoman's a cover, but yes, Firewoman is exactly. Fantastic.
I was going to say, like, that's a cover of a non-Sonic song, but every time I hear Firewoman from them...
called, my favorite song by Crush 40 is called Watch Me Fly, and it has nothing to do with Sonic.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I know it's a cover, it's not Sonic, but every time I hear Firewoman, I can't help but think about Blaze. I think it's funny.
That's to me, and actually, their cover of Firewoman is better than the original version because I know both, and yeah, I like their cover of Firewoman better than the original.
It's really hard for me to decide whether or not on which day of the week I would rather play Colors or Black Knight, because like for me, I know, yeah, Bailey K, I know she would. It's really hard. I guess. Are you sure? Because Sonic Colors is more of a traditional 3D Sonic game than Black Knight.
Sure, but I like creativity, and I've accepted that every Sonic game has a problem with it. So I look past that pain. I'm comparing this list within its own ecosystem. So that's why I think it goes a bit higher. I would put it at a C with Sonic Riders, personally.
Wow, wow. Dude. Well, because I'm straight up. I'll say now, I'm going F tier for Sonic Rings, and fucking Black Knight wasn't as, according to Shadow says, Black Knight wasn't as good as Sonic Rings. I wish we had a third storybook Sonic. It was a good idea for a series. Black Knight is a bit not enough, but chunky. Like, if he's saying it's not as good as Rings, I hate Rings, bro.
Was he
I think
drunk
Rings
when
is
he was
also
playing this
better than
game?
Colors, though.
I mean, I didn't like this game, but I might have been drunk when I was playing it. I don't like Black Knight. I think it just, in terms of other Sonic games, it felt really clunky, really janky. It not being able to backtrack at all really made me upset playing it. I was really not happy with this game. I know they tried some unique stuff and some interesting things, but I don't like
I agree. The Rings was better, dude. I think we might have to put fucking. I know you like it, Melee, but I think that between these guys in the chat, sounds like Black Knight's going in F.
Yeah, it's not DeviantArt.
It's worse
Sonic
than
fans
Colors. It's fine.
I'm sorry, Kay. I tried my best.
Pain. It's pain.
It's down there. Pain.
I'll put it F, but I'll put it higher than Colors. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'll take that. I just really hate Colors.
Hey,
I
address that last comment by Shadow. That is not a good selling point to your argument.
You can backtrack in Sonic Secret Rings, but you gotta beat half the game first and equip it.
I think this person also mentioned you have to beat the whole game, or you have to get far enough in the game to unlock skills that makes the gameplay even better. Like, you should have that at the beginning of the game, and you get that with Sonic and the Black Knight. In the beginning of the game functions and works correctly. You do not have that in Secret Rings.
Yeah, that is an awful point right there. It reminds me of, what is it, Big Dog? Jake was saying when he played Final Fantasy 13, it was like, oh yeah, his friend was saying it gets better after the 40-hour mark. It's like, what do you no.
See, here's the thing with JRPG. First of all, I think that okay, I will meet in the middle. Let's move this to low C. We'll probably have this be like our last C. But when it comes to JRPGs,
let's go.
I have what I call a 10-hour rule. If I'm still interested after 10 hours, because I expect JRPGs to be slow as fuck. Persona 5 is one of my favorite games of all time, and it does not actually get interesting until you're like 8 hours in. Like, it's so many Final Fantasies are like that as well. Like, I expect a JRPG to not be good until the 8 to 10 hour mark. I really do.
I can understand that. And you're right, those slow as hell.
Final Fantasy 13 takes about 25 hours to stop being linear. I think
Final Fantasy 13 never gets good, so there's no point to bringing that. Like Final Fantasy 13 could suck a fat one. I fucking hate that game.
Go play 10-2. Go play 10-2 instead. You'll have a better time.
10-2 is all like you just pulled, in my opinion, picked out the two worst Final Fantasies ever made.
10-2 is great. Don't you even? I love 10-2.
10-2 is not the reason 10-2 is not as well received was because it was Final Fantasy dress up, and it was so drastically different than 10 that people came in with expectations.
It's the Britney Spears of Final Fantasy games, and I'm all for it. It's Charlie's Angels. I love it. I don't care. The dress sphere system is great. I love that you can change your team so dynamically. The combat feels just awesome. My issue with it is the story. I think in the end of the game,
also, I agree with Hypnotic. Manga does work the exact same way.
The damage that Final Fantasy X-2 did to Final Fantasy X story-wise, I agree. That is terrible. But everything else about that game,
so much, especially because if you get the true ending to Final Fantasy X, then 10-2 shouldn't even exist.
Yes, I agree. But it exists, and I like it, and it's fun. It's a good combat game. The outfits look great. The music is fantastic. It rivals 10. I think it could even be better than 10 in some places. There's a lot of good hits. We're not ranking Final Fantasy. I will defend that later.
That could be a fun stream for sometime in the future, though, because I love making arguments for 15. Like I love making arguments for Final Fantasy 15. I unabashedly love that game. I'm still waiting on the PC port for 16. When it comes, that's going to be a day one buy for me. Well, I don't know about day one because day one ports are usually janky as fuck. But I will be buying 16 when it comes to PC because I know people shit on it, but I really want to play 16. 16.
I enjoy 16, but it's very basic. That's the problem.
I did hear that they enlisted some people that were working on Devil May Cry's battle system for 16. So
but it's
that's a selling point.
It's a very simplistic version of it. So if you're a Devil May Cry fan, it doesn't feel as good. If you're a Bayonetta fan, it doesn't feel as good. Same with Nier. But it's baby's first like Devil May Cry, pretty much.
So you're saying it's Babby's first spectacle fighter?
Yes, exactly.
Him not coming in with 10-2 is average. The entire game exists for those people who desperately want Tidus to be alive for Yuna. So.
And
I should get
that
down
was
with
my problem with the game is that, the Tidus storytelling in that, and the way Yuna acts about him, I think that's the most atrocious part of that game. But I do like the combat a lot.
That's a
Panzer
tier list
Dragoon
argument
is a
for
fucking
another
classic,
time.
Shadow. I agree. Panzer Dragoon's an absolute classic.
I could rant about like a bunch of the female protagonists from some of the later Final Fantasies for days. That is an argument for another autism stream. If you ever want to do a Final Fantasy rank stream, let me know.
I would absolutely have to get Hypno on. If we were to do a Final Fantasy stream, I would Magnet Mags and Hypno would need to be a part of it. I could not in good conscience do a Final Fantasy stream without those two.
So how does Hypno feel about Rebirth? I'm curious. I'm just throwing that out there so I can see the ranting about it because I'm curious if you like it or not.
Oh, Hypno, start telling us how you feel about Rebirth while we rank this next Sonic game. Let's all right, let's do Sonic Unleashed, the PS2 and Wii versions.
I actually kind of like the Wii version. I don't really like the way some of the levels are laid out, but the nighttime versions of the Wii version are actually fun. They don't drag on too long.
The nighttime versions are way better in the Wii version. I completely agree.
Yeah, it feels good, and the motion controls actually feel good and kind of work. I think they could have done better with the daytime versions. Specifically, I hate these like, oh, you beat the level. Well, now here's like mission mode. I don't like that. No, give me like Act 2 of the daytime version with a different level. It had to have been like memory constraints.
Damn, okay. Hypno came in hot.
Oh,
great game,
boy.
Great gameplay, trash story, trash, complete trash, dog shit even, below dog shit. I'm more likely to sleep with Alyssa Mercante than say what they're doing. The story of Final Fantasy VII is good.
I haven't beat it. I have not beat Rebirth yet.
This is reserved for Super
I liked
Chat reserved. Oh man, sorry, that deserved some roundabout. All right, continue, Melee.
Oh no, it did deserve that. I haven't finished Rebirth yet. It's actually starting to lose my interest because they bloat it way too much. So I'm trying to push through it. I liked the first part more than I've liked the second part. I think the game feels great, but yeah, in terms of like story, I'm not pulled in at all yet.
I think the story was just weird as hell, and I did not vibe with the story. The gameplay is at least serviceable enough that I would give it a very low B or very high C. Like I think 3D Blast actually is better, so I'd probably go like mid C.
Oh, apparently Widerin, this is his first Final Fantasy. Yeah, that's hey, if you enjoy it, man, because you don't have anything else to compare it to, fair enough. So yeah, where are we at with the?
I would
the
put
Wii
it
version?
above. I would put up the 360 version. All of us here like the Wii version more, but that's only because half of us have played it. Above the 360 version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I personally would put it below, but everyone else is saying above, and I can understand why. So
Even,
I mean, I'm so miffed that they cut my favorite area, and I like the open. If you haven't noticed, being a Sonic Adventure fan, I love the games where you can run around in an open field before going into a level. So that makes a good Sonic game for me. But I understand.
I would almost rank it below based on the fact that there's cut content.
See, I would rank it below as well. So hold on, are we split? Canadian, you say above, and Imp, you say above, and me and Melee say below. All right, chat, we need a tiebreaker. Which one is better? I'll give 1 minute for you guys to tell us in the chat which is better, the Wii and PS2 version or the 360 and PS3 version. Let me know in the chat. In the meantime, Hypno says they took a near perfect story and said, hey, how can we make this like Kingdom Hearts, aka totally mega fucked?
I find Kingdom Hearts exhausting. I've tried to get into it so many times and I just can't. Sora's too annoying. I can't do it.
I like Kingdom Hearts, but I also hate it. I have a very love-hate relationship.
Kingdom Hearts 2 was fun. I skipped 1 because people were like, just try a bit of 2. I love how 2 feels, but 1, I just cannot sit through the story.
I played 2 first. I played 2 first, and it turned out to not... It set the bar too high, so I couldn't go back to 1. I tried multiple times. I've actually never beaten 1 because it's just too slow compared to 2.
I actually liked. I played 1, then 2, then I played most of the others. I actually own quite a few on the mobile systems. I haven't played 3 yet. I don't know. I actually like Kingdom Hearts. I think it's generally fun. And I just wish they didn't. I wish they gave more time to Final Fantasy characters like they did in the originals. And as over time, they just
Real quick,
phased them
Shaka
out.
Zulu says, "Yeah, I need chat participation on this one. What game are we ranking again? So the PS2 version, PS2 and Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, does it go above or below the Xbox 360 and PS3 version? So I need chat to help me out because the panel is divided. We got 2 for 2.
To defend the Wii version, because you have to play a lot of the game as Werehog Sonic, the Wii version makes it more bearable than the 360 PS3 version. Because the controls are a little bit better fine-tuned. There's not as many enemies you have to punch your way through. The level designs are a little bit more friendly. There's a lot of climbing and stuff you have to do in as Werehog Sonic, and when it comes to the Wii controls, they just react a lot better when you're grabbing objects and you're climbing and clambering over things. Whereas the 360 version, it's like a toss of the hat if you're gonna like grab a ledge and you're gonna do the right tricks to get over floating platforms and whatnot. It's just, I think the gameplay is a little bit more refined in the Wii version for this game.
Well, I put up a poll, so we'll see what the chat says. And while the chat is voting on that, we'll do the next tier list and the next rank, and then we'll move that accordingly. Let's do Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, one that I actually didn't play, so I will need whoever did play it to sort of fill in.
I never played this one either, actually.
I just remember it being worse than Sonic Riders, like the other one that we ranked. But
That's what I've heard, but I've never played it myself to confirm.
Yeah, the controls are, because it uses the Wii motion controls. It's not as fun as the GameCube one because I just popped it in the other day. Actually, it's really funny, and I was like, wow, like the GameCube one, I feel like you have a little bit better, more control over where you're going because it is a pretty hectic racing game. You need to be able to react quickly. Now, I will say there are some cool elements to it as far as like being able to cut corners really nicely and some other like little abilities you get. But I would rank it lower than the GameCube one personally, and I've been playing it here and there.
All right, Canadian, do you have thoughts? Did you play Zero Gravity? Or,
Yeah.
You
mean Imp?
I meant Imp. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Imp,
I have not played this one. If it uses motion controls, it's already a dumpster fire for me.
No, we'll get to the one that uses motion. Well, I guess this one does too because it's Wii, but it's not. Anyway.
I'll have to find a copy of it somewhere. I'm sure it's around, but I imagine that Riders was better. Like I think that Riders by itself was a very inclusive, all-inclusive, succinct game that just didn't need a sequel.
All right, well, Shadow coming in with the tiebreaker, or not really a tiebreaker, but coming in with more info. I played Zero Gravity, no Riders. Riders was way better. The music was neat, but trying too hard. There's a mod out there that makes it cool. All right, I guess we'll put Zero Gravity in the F tier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all
good.
right. And with that, we will end the Sonic Unleashed poll, and the PS2 Wii version is the winner. So that one stays where it is. All right, we're outvoted, Melee. All right. Let's do the number one game from Kotaku. Let's do Sonic Heroes.
High A tier.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I like it. It does not have polish. I feel like I'm saying that about every damn Sonic game. I liked
it not having polish. I feel like it's forgivable because this was the very first Sonic game they ever designed for multi-platform.
Yes, true. Exactly. I love that you could rotate the characters like on the fly. You have your different teams that each had like a different output that they would do, which made like a lot more strategy.
The difficulty in this game was also brilliantly done. Having Amy's team be the easy mode, Sonic's team be medium, Shadow's team be hard, and then you have what's like a miscellaneous mode, which is Team Chaotic. So I actually think that was a really unique way to do difficulty.
Well, and on top of that, it was a unique attempt to add game mechanics. Like I agree. Like this game was fun. It was colorful. The areas
more
were
colorful than Sonic Colors, ironically.
It was very unique and diverse and varied in a lot of ways. You had multiple playable characters, but every team played effectively the same. I think aside from what you're saying, you're absolutely right. I like that you have different difficulties and missions based on those teams. But the idea to me that this is somehow better than two of the best Sonic games of all time is just wild to me. Absolutely
Yeah,
not. I give this
Kotaku
high
is
A tier.
dumb.
This is
Kotaku is
a
dumb. But
this is
I'm
a
trying
fun
to
game. It's very colorful and fun. I would not say that it belongs
Bro,
in number 1.
Eddie Ramen, he says A tier. Only problem is to get all the emerald bat. So that's another thing I love about this game is the special stages made it feel like classic 2D Sonic when you had to get the emeralds. I think that's a case for making it. It was very difficult. I agree. It was very difficult to do. It was the controls are slippery for that. But I mean, I was able to do. I beat this game. Not only did I beat this game, I got the hidden ending and everything when I was in like 6th grade or something. So I could do it as a fucking 12-year-old. Then, you know. I'd say
I'm
this is an
trying
A tier.
to figure out why Shaka Zulu thinks this game is not replayable when you have 4
Yeah, I was
different
wondering about that
teams.
as well.
I
Sonic
need to
Heroes should
know.
be a new standard, but definitely needs to be a remake, of course. Yeah, there's been rumors that it's getting an updated port. We'll see if those rumors come to fruition. But while we're waiting on Shaka Zulu to explain why it's not replayable, we'll go ahead and throw this in the A tier.
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to know
Our
compared to
first A
the
tier
PS
game, by the way.
compared to
Well
the PS2 and the
deserved.
Dreamcast versions. Is there a big difference? Kind of like Sonic Adventure has like a big difference between Dreamcast and GameCube. Does this game as well have that, or is it all just the same across all the consoles?
The PS2 version is notably worse than the 360 or than the regular Xbox and GameCube version, but that's just because the PS2 was a more inferior piece of hardware. Like it's as we all love the PS2, we all love it, but between the three, the PS2 was the weakest of the three spec wise, and it actually does show with Sonic Heroes. But because I actually have played it on all three, and but it's pretty much the same on Xbox and GameCube.
Okay, cool.
Let's see.
I think it feels
Melee-
the best on GameCube controller wise, though.
I completely agree with that. Yes, I like it the best on the GameCube controller. But that's just because the Duke is so massive. Most games don't do good on that motherfucker.
I unironically loved the Duke. I unironically love that controller.
Really?
Yeah, and I have tiny baby Trump
nostalgia
hands.
purposes because I had an OG Xbox, but like,
I love my OG Xbox and the Duke. Like, and I've got the tiniest hands you've ever seen. I have tiny baby Trump hands, and I unironically love that big ass fucking controller. So much so that I actually gave myself a dumb goofy screen. Like, this got sound on it, but you can't hear it.
My bad, I made a mistake.
Zulu says, I've been replaying all the old Sonic games, and Heroes was the only one where I was like, wow, this game isn't as good or fun as I remember it. Interesting. I replayed Sonic Heroes on a stream when I first started my channel like a year and a half ago, and I really enjoyed it. I was playing it emulated because it was for a stream, and I could tell I didn't know if the differences were because I've aged or because it's an emulator. So I could go either way there.
Yeah, but see, the thing with Sonic Heroes is that I like in Sonic Adventure 2 how you get different levels with different characters, but in Sonic Heroes you get it there packaged already, and you can choose how you want to beat the level based on what outputs you like the most. Oh, I play best with Sonic, so I'm going to play this way as much as I can. Oh, actually I like to play Knuckles. It gives you way more of a dynamic experience compared to other Sonic games. I would argue this is one of the most replayable games because you can beat the level with 12 different characters.
Yeah, there's very good level variation throughout. I think that sort of falls off in the last few levels because those levels get kind of ridiculously difficult, but that's how games should work. But in general, I do agree with you. Let's do Sonic R because it wasn't even on the Kotaku list, but I'm gonna do something that I very rarely do, which is flex I'm the dictator of my channel, and I'm putting this in God tier because this is one of the best video game soundtracks of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
Honestly, I played it for a little while. I didn't get very far when I played it on my channel, but because I was just kind of doing a test of it, but it is fun, and I can see a lot of how this game starts to feel good when you play it for long enough. The music is great.
If you're good at this game, you can get 100% completion in 30 minutes. Now, as a kid, I could not do that. Now, as an adult, the idea of speed running a racing game to 100% completion is so goddamn funny to me. I love it. And again, the soundtrack is 6 songs, and every single one of them is a 10 out of 10. So
I agree. I've got 4 of them on my personal Spotify list. Supersonic Racing, Back in Time,
Sunshine. Yep, Back in Time. I think that if any of them is the best, it is Can You Feel the Sunshine? But again, they are all good. Every single one of them.
Agreed.
And it also just takes me back to playing this game with my granny growing up. Like, there's so much about this game that I can't be objective with Sonic R. I really can't. It's God tier.
I won't debate you on it. It's not my favorite Sonic game, but I get why people love it as much as they do.
Oh, since you said the word debate, let's do Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Okay,
let's
wait.
go.
Tell me Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll be back in a second. I got something to show.
Low, mid to
Angry
low to
Canadian,
mid
before
A
you
tier.
do Shadow the Hedgehog, have you been working on your secret project?
No, because I was waiting for you to give me the go-ahead to start on it. So
Oh, I thought you were waiting for me to give you the go-ahead on when to show it. I'm
no,
sorry.
no. Well, since we're talking about
Okay,
it now, I'll start
we'll-
on it,
we'll-
and then
We'll how about we start on it now when we're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog. We'll save Sonic Adventure 2 till near the end to give you time to complete it, and we'll yeah.
all right, cool.
Oh, hold on. Let's
That's beautiful. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
yes,
I love
yes.
This is
Oh,
my
dude, I
Shadow the
love
Hedgehog
it.
PS2 controller, and it's got its little dome for it as well. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but
That's actually
yeah,
great.
that's,
That is all.
I
Did you
love
like
this thing.
how did you come across that?
I went to like a convention, like a retro gaming convention, and they had this, and they also had a Mega Man controller for the GameCube, so I bought both. And I'm just in love with this thing. I didn't even buy it with the game or anything. I just saw it on a shelf, and I was like, I need to get this. It's so nice. I've never used it.
I didn't even know that existed. Now I want it. I want
Yeah.
that just as much as I want the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller.
I don't even
That
know,
is a
like...
dream buy for me.
Yeah, I'll take photos for you later, Leon. I don't even know
Oh,
like what it
dude.
came with or anything because I just found it randomly at like a retro event, but I don't even know. It
Yes.
doesn't even specify
Send
on the
it
bottom
my
or
way.
anything. That's the bottom of it though, which looks pretty sweet too.
Let me. There we go.
I
yeah,
love that so much.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is
Yeah.
That's
sick.
great.
Yeah.
I know this game gets memed on for being from the edgiest boy, but like the gameplay is fun. I know there's a little jank in it still.
It literally
but it's,
plays the exact same way as Heroes, but with one character. I feel like in good conscience, we have to go B or A tier because Heroes is
I
A
would give
tier.
it low to mid A tier, 100%.
If
Yeah, A
Sonic
tier.
Heroes is A, then Shadow the Hedgehog deserves A as well.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm gonna be
agree.
that guy. I like the story of Shadow better than Sonic Heroes. I really
Which
do.
story?
Yes.
It-
Which
People
story?
say that it well because there is a canon story. Like
yeah.
if you beat all the alternate endings, there is a canon story, and people say that it diminishes Sonic Adventure 2. I don't see that at all. I don't understand how it diminishes Sonic Adventure 2. I think that it just adds more lore. Does it retcon it to do so? Yeah, but it doesn't retcon it in a way that breaks anything from Sonic Adventure 2.
Did you guys know there is a way to play this with a friend? Co-op mode?
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yep, like
if
so
you-
many Sonic games, if you plug in controller 2, they can take control of the hero character if you choose the good side.
Huh.
Right?
Huh.
I remember
didn't
me and
know
my little
that.
sister doing that back in the day. It
Yeah.
doesn't work very well because if you start going real fast and you've got like Tails as your buddy, like your little sibling mode, they'll lose control of the character until they pop back up. But yeah, it is doable. And there's also the 2-player versus mode, which honestly Heroes had as well. Me and my little brother used to play the 2-player versus mode on Heroes all the time.
I didn't even know about this mode. Damn.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
It's not anything you select. It's just inherent in the game. If you're playing through on single player, but you've got the good guy trail that is the one you're following, player 2 can just inherently control the hero player. So it's a unique thing that just was never advertised. But yeah, I think the Shadow the Hedgehog it gets hate because for the same reason that Pineapple on Pizza and Spider-Man 3 get hate. The internet has told you to since 2006.
That's what I was saying with the Kotaku thing. They ranked it low because they're like, oh, you're supposed to hate this game. Right? Right, fellow Sonic fans? We hate Shadow the Hedgehog totally. And it's like, no, you don't understand.
Kotaku, that just shows that Kotaku exists to fuel bullshit
Rage.
and hatred. It's rage
Yeah.
bait. It's clickbait. Get out of here. They don't deserve the clicks. They don't deserve they're desperate.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
with recent events,
that's
anyone
correct.
can
Yep,
see
in
that.
Sonic Adventure 2, in Sonic Adventure, you can control Tails as well. Yep.
All right, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I think that there's seeing Shadow interact with all these characters he doesn't normally interact with, seeing the fact that he fucking kills Eggman in one of the endings, he kills Sonic in one of the endings. Again, they're all non-canon, but like there's such interesting what if stories that I don't know. I like it. I love this game. The gunplay is not great, but it's not bad. Then people complain about the slippery controls, which again, Literally the exact. They even use the same port over all the models from Sonic Heroes. Like, if you like Heroes, you should like Shadow the Hedgehog. If you don't, the internet's telling you some bullshit and you've been feeding into it. Plus, the cyberspace level where you literally go in the internet with SBO.
Yes.
The visuals are
you
so
go into a
fucking
series
wild.
of tubes.
Yep.
I love that level.
That was one of my favorite levels. It was weird. It kind of got a little windy. I was having trouble with it, but it was a very fun
Sam Raimi Sonic game. Eddie Robbins is the best. It's a Sam Raimi Sonic game. And as someone who's a massive Sam Raimi fan, that comes up to me. I don't know if he meant it as a compliment, but to me that's a compliment because Sam Raimi is my favorite
a compliment.
director, so.
Yes, I think it's a compliment.
I think it's also the only Sonic game that's rated T for teen because of the swearing, the mild swearing that's in it, which is even
in America,
another funny
it's
part.
or E10. I don't know
E10?
because
Okay.
you're in Canada / Japan, so I don't know if it's in America. It was E10.
That would make sense though.
And yeah, I like hearing swear. I mean, I don't know how old I was when this game came out, 12, 13, 14. Like, I was somewhere in that range. And like, I liked hearing swearing in a Sonic game. It made me feel cool and grown. Like, I'd already played Jak 2 by this point, but it hit a little bit different in a Sonic game. I don't care if they were only saying damn. It was still like wild.
It was unreal.
So you heard it here first, folks. We're the only Sonic tier list on YouTube that's probably given Shadow the Hedgehog an A tier, and we will stand by it and defend it.
It's a well-deserved spot for it, and I think more people need to play the game.
I think the guns actually improve the gameplay, but it's because if you're talking about gimmicks, it keeps a very familiar style for a lot of fans, but it adds the mission modes. It adds unique mechanics like the hover disc that you have to use in a couple levels. It adds a bunch of stuff like that, and the story is.
If you don't like the gunplay, you can play through the entire game without guns. Like, you don't need to do it.
People cry about the gunplay, but it's like you can play Sonic Adventure 2 as Tails and Eggman and have guns. So like, guns have existed in Sonic games. Just because it's a hedgehog with a gun, that's where people get upset. But I think it feels good. I mean, it doesn't always work the best, but it feels good.
I've replayed it. I never will understand the hate for this game. Like, I can understand the hate for the prequels in Star Wars. I disagree with them, but I hate them. I can't wrap my head around the hate for this game for anyone that was there at the time. Like, if you grew up playing only modern, if you didn't start gaming until 2015 or 2012 or whatever, okay, going back to this would feel rough. But like, to anyone that grew up playing this, yeah, this was no worse than a lot of other games at the time. So, yep, A tier. Shadow the Hedgehog is a cool game. Replayable. There you go. It's in the A tier, Little Miss Anonymous. Boom. Played a little Shadow. Thought it was fun. Yeah. I see a lot of folks in the chat agreeing with this, and it just goes to show that the people you see on the internet, they're NPCs. You guys in the chat, you're the real ones. We know you're real humans. Tails is a giant laser gun in his mech, and no one complained about it back in the day. It's okay for Robotnik to shoot missiles at you, but a gun. Boom. Everyone coming in with that fucking knowledge, just dropping the knowledge. You love to see it. Let's do Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I mean, Eggman.
You already know my answer.
I want you to go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, me? Oh, okay, so if there was a way to play this game with a nunchuck, just like Black Knight, I would probably rate it higher than F. But it has to go in F because I don't like this idea. I have to play through 40 to 50% of the game for it to get good. But even though I've played more than 40-50% of the game, and it's still not good as far as the controls go. I like the stages. I like the music. I like the storytelling. But it's like I said in the chat earlier. It's like I'm trying to wrestle a baby with a pacifier trying to control this game. Like, it fights me every single time I'm trying to do the action.
Are you having trouble wrestling with a baby? Who are you, Seth Rollins?
I never have I never have trouble with it.
Well,
it's almost like it.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but you could definitely win a wrestling match against the baby once.
Oh, dude,
it never ends well for you.
Good luck getting out of my armbar, little Bobby, fucking infant Bobby. I'm about to snap your fucking. Anyway, yeah, I agree. F tier for this fucking game.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I put it right at the bottom of F tier.
Yeah,
and I went in.
Honestly, I would go so far as to say DeviantArt Sonic fan. I fucking hate this game, but I'll let you guys.
I could actually see it. I could see that.
I don't think it's on par with Forces. I think it's better than Forces.
Okay, fair enough.
And I want
time travel and wrestle a baby Seth Rollins. He's the trip god, yo. Seth Rollins, the trip god.
I just want to add.
Man laugh. That's my Seth Rollins laugh.
Well, I just wanted to add real quickly. I went into this game with good intentions because I heard a lot of the hate. I never, up to that point, I had never seen gameplay. I never like looked into it, so I wanted to go into it blind. And going into it blind, I still came out at the end of it just like
I
terrified
got the
and
game
mortified by
on
it.
release. When it dropped for the Wii, I got it on release, so I went in blind and fucking loathed it. This may be the very first time I ever played a Sonic game and I actively hated it, was Sonic and the Secret Rings. So yeah, fuck this game. Let's do Sonic Boom.
That's
I'll-
pretty
I'll-
much
I'll-
DeviantArt.
There we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's like
DeviantArt,
pretty much
yes.
there. It's bad.
Okay.
Especially coming off of such a great cartoon. It's like, come on, you could have given me something I could have rallied behind
Actually,
a little
imagine
bit.
the cartoon being good coming off such a bad game because the game came
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
I mean,
this was
that's
it was
my
a tie-in
point.
cartoon.
It's like you just want it to be like, as a Sonic Boom cartoon fan, you just want this game to be decent, so you can be like, look, we got a great game for it too. Nope, they didn't give it to us. So
No, not at all. We're down to mostly good games, except for there's one more, or at least ones we could debate. But let's do Sonic Free Riders, the Xbox Connect game.
Let's not. Like, we should have a different tier exclusively for Connect games to all go in.
I've never played this because I've only ever played one Connect game in my life. No, two. I played the Star Wars Connect game, which was fucking dog water, and I played like the Wii Sports Connect game. Obviously, it wasn't Wii Sports, but like whatever their version of it was, which again was dog water.
There's redeeming parts of the Star Wars Connect game, like and you get to be a Rancor and just like smack things.
See, I just remember the lightsaber play was fucking awful.
Wait,
And,
but
That's
don't
true.
forget about the best dance, the best song in that game.
The
that
Han
the Han
Solo
Solo
one?
song?
Oh,
Yes.
God. It's so bad, it's good. I think
is
that's where
there
that
a
one's at.
good Connect game? Like not even just dogging on Sonic Free Riders. Is there a good Connect game ever?
Connectimals.
What?
Connectimals, which is like Xbox's Nintendogs, basically.
But is Nintendogs a good game? I think people love it because pets, but it's not like the best.
I
good.
don't know if there is a good Connect game because I refuse to have Microsoft's spyware machine inside my house.
There you go. See, the only times I played Connect, I was at someone else's house. Exactly. I fucking never owned one.
Like, I might
What do you
consider
think
getting.
this thing does? This thing spies on me too.
Yeah, and
And
all
I
you
know
do is
you have
plug
one. I've
it.
seen your face.
Why do you
Imp.
think I
know
use a
have one.
PNG tuber? Like, I've done cameras. I won't do them regularly.
So, is it? I guess the question boils down to: is it F tier or is it DeviantArt Sonic tier?
I wouldn't
I think
disrespect
F-tier.
it. Yeah,
I think it
F
still
tier.
has some qualities to
Okay.
it. It was a cool idea. Yeah, I mean the Connect in general.
I give it a star for effort. It tried,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah, the DeviantArt is like the disrespect tier. So you don't want to. I mean, it's still Sonic Riders at its core. You don't want to disrespect that, at least.
All right, then let's do Sonic Frontiers. Where do we think Frontiers goes?
Say Sonic Frontiers would definitely go high A. From everything I've seen, it tries really hard. The music is excellent. The gameplay is definitely exactly what they wanted to do. So they hit the mark on that. I haven't played it, but I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's the highest A so far. I would put it above both Shadow and Sonic Heroes, actually.
I can see this.
It's not quite God tier, but it
Hmm.
makes me believe that the next Sonic game could be God tier if they just improve on the things that they already introduced in Frontiers, especially if you've played the update where you can get the spin dash and stuff.
Yeah, I trust you on the update, so I could see it. Right now, as it stands with me playing just the original game they released, I would say it's below Shadow the Hedgehog personally, but I think it's better than Unleashed. So, yeah, I mean, I would give it an A for sure. I just don't know if it beats Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic Heroes yet, because I need to see that DLC. Maybe it will.
That's
Well,
fair. And yeah, I would say it's in. I mean, it's DLC in name only because if you pop in the game right now, it will ask you to update the game, and
It's
you
just
don't have to download. It's just there.
It's just a free update. I'll take that.
They added the jukebox, which the jukebox made such a world of difference because now you can play through the open world with cycling through different songs from Sonic's history. So like if you're a Shadow the Hedgehog fan, you want to run through Frontiers hearing "I Am All of Me," that's a fucking thing. Like I don't remember if that song specifically is
I'm
there, but I
so
imagine
sold.
it is. They've got
It is.
Like, yeah.
No,
So
that
confused.
was the when that game first came out, that was my biggest issue, was how quiet the open world was. It was like playing Breath of the Wild, and there was just not enough music going on in the overworld, like the open world. As soon as you go into the cyberspace, the music just drops. It's amazing. The music is
Mhm.
is really, really good in cyberspace, and the boss music. Don't even
Dude,
get
the
me
boss
started on the boss.
Dude, the boss fight music turned me into a fan of that. What's that band? Is it Sleeping with Sirens? The lead singer.
One
Sleeping
of
with
them,
Sirens?
yes, that's one of
Yeah,
them.
it's
Yeah.
the lead singer of Sleeping with Sirens that does all the boss fight music. It's so fucking good.
Oh
Plus,
yeah.
I like the bullet hell mini games. Like, there's good emotion to the story. Like, specifically, there's a scene between Sonic and Knuckles that hits right where it needs to in the emotional sector. Yeah, I'm going high A on Sonic Frontiers. I would highly recommend you get the update, Melee. You'll be very pleasantly surprised, is all I'll say.
I'm looking forward to it, considering that I already liked the game without it. It's only going to get better.
Do you want to do Generations or Lost World?
Well, Lost World shouldn't rank very high, so we can rank that if you want.
All right, let's do Lost World. I'd say this should be our lowest C, personally.
Yep, that's where I pretty much want it to. I think it's worse than Black Knight.
I can agree
Frontier's
with that.
definitely with your time, Shaka. I like it even without trying the updates. Yeah, exactly. You're so Daxonar, you were such a fucking homo. Appreciate you showing up, brother. Yeah, did anyone have any? I mean, again, cool. It's got a Zelda DLC. That's your highlight. I'd say lowest C.
I think what they tried to do was like a Super Mario Galaxy style game with the rotating levels, like the three. I guess it's over 3-dimensional type levels. The music's really good. The story's pretty good too, and the bad guys are pretty cool as well. But as far as like being
Their
consistent,
personalities are cool. I fucking hate their designs. Their designs.
oh
are
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. The gameplay though, as far as like being consistently fun, it does like have its moments where it's like some levels are fun and some of them are really bad and some of them are fun, and yeah, it's definitely low C. I would rather play Black Knight over Lost World.
Yeah, C tier because Mario ripoff. Yes, Ian Flynn. After we're done with the ranking, I was going to talk about Ian Flynn if we have the time and get into the comics and stuff. But yes, Ian Flynn did write Frontiers, and Ian Flynn is honestly, in my opinion, the savior of Sonic right now. He also helped write the movies. He's helping write the IDW comics, and he absolutely is the savior of the series. Yep, Sonic Lost World. We're gonna go low. Did you say you played Black Knight first, or you played this before Black Knight?
Black Knight first, and I think Kay would agree too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Alrighty, let's we're down to some heavy hitters. Let's do Generations first.
Generations is an A. I really like this game.
I agree.
I think
See, that's gonna be the debate: is Generations A or God tier? Because I can see a case for either one.
Ooh.
I don't know about God tier. It's got some really weird stuff in it, but there's so much. The only reason I hesitate on God tier is because it's a celebration game. It's not a game.
See,
on
and
its
that
own.
is actually I have a my if I was to play devil's advocate, I think my stance is that's why it should be God tier, not because it's a celebration game, but because there is so much unlockable, so many bonus levels, so many you got A's on everything, and it unlocks all this beautiful concept art and music, and there's so much collectathon style gameplay to it where you could be locked into this game for days and weeks, unlocking bonus content, then you can cycle through and just that glorify the history of Sonic. The replayability on this game is off the fucking charts because of all the collectibles.
I actually 100%ed this back in the day before I played it again on stream. This game is a lot of fun. I'd actually put it above Sonic Frontiers. I'd probably put it at the highest A tier that we can get because I think this genuinely is just a great game. It's a lot of fun, but I think it falters in a few places. I think a few of the 3D areas are really weird to play, and I don't really feel great.
Well, the 2D is a strength of this game.
Real quick, El Monster, we are only ranking the 3D games. That's why there's no Sonic Mania, because this is based off a bullshit Kotaku list. So yeah, we're only ranking 3D games. But Sonic Mania is a fucking banger, and I adore it.
Well, that's the argument I was going to have. Yeah, Sonic Mania is a 2D celebration game. I still think it should be ranked very high if we're ranking 2D. So Sonic Generations should be ranked high as a celebration game of the entire series.
Oh wait, no,
I don't think that
I'm
works
stupid.
against it.
We put Sonic Generations in God tier because of the 3D version of Escape from the City, where the truck just starts doing loop-de-loops with giant rocket boosters. Never
I
mind,
hated
I'm
that
sold.
at
God
first.
tier,
Like
my
when this
bad.
game first came out, I hated that because how dare you disrespect the original level? And then as I
No,
keep playing,
that's
no, I
great.
love it. I fucking love what
It's
the gun
great,
truck
yeah.
does.
No. Okay, low God tier, lowest of the God tier. Let's go.
Well, yeah, well, okay, low god tier. That works for me. Plus, not only that, but yeah, it's a celebration game. But I think it came out in 2012 or whatever, 2013. If you put this in a modern gamer's hands who's never played a Sonic game before, I think this game alone will teach you everything you need to know about how a Sonic game plays and feels. And if you could use this game to introduce someone to Sonic, there's only about 3 to 5 Sonic games that can do that, and this is one of them. I think it's one of the ones that does it the best. So
I'd rather do that with Sonic Mania, which I'm planning on playing later.
I think that
Yeah.
Mania would be great if you just want to introduce them to 2D. I think that's what makes this one amazing is people get the best of both worlds.
I'd agree. I would rather introduce someone to the 2D just first, give them Sonic Mania or either Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's hard there. If I had to talk about my favorite Sonic game, it's really difficult because
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the ultimate 2. I think it's better than Mania. Mania is a close number 2. But I think Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the apex of 2D Sonic.
I think honestly, and this might be hot take, I think Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles combined have the makings of the best game of all time. For a variety of reasons. I think one, given how limited the mechanics and controls were, I felt like 1 had some of the best tight controls that you had, 2 had the best aesthetic, and 3 had the best pacing and music.
I think 3 actually has a better aesthetic than 2, though I really like the aesthetic in 2. My issue with Sonic 1, I love it for the history, but it's actually not very good.
I agree.
After the first three or so levels, it becomes a standard Mario style platformer. There's not a lot of room for going fast.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree, but the whole point was never go fast. Sonic was never about going fast. Sonic was a physics-based platformer that utilized tight physics-based controls, which is funny because the original Sonic trilogy was all spaghetti coated as hell. And Sonic 1 made the best use out of that, especially in the first half of the levels.
As far as a tight platformer, that I agree with you. It's very well done. That's not what people think of when the tagline is "gotta go fast." So,
yeah. I hate that tagline, "gotta go fast." I hate that they leaned into it because that's never.
I mean, that's Sonic's gimmick, though. He's the fastest thing alive.
It's his gimmick. It's been in all the cartoons, pretty much. It's been in a lot of the marketing around the game, so we have to accept that part of it, unfortunately.
And honestly, I'm a shill for Sonic Origins. I like Sonic Origins, so.
Well, that's why personally I can't really get into 2D Sonic because it's not as fast and as high speed as the 3D Sonic games. So, and that's not to knock you guys. I like 2D Sonic.
Canadian, you hurt me so much.
Hey,
to hear.
I give and take.
Yes, you do give and take. That's true. We agree on most things, but the Sonic stuff, I don't know.
Canadian, how far are you on your special project?
I'm almost done. Give me about 5 minutes or another long dissertation by in Black Belt, and I'll be ready.
Sorry.
We'll do no, that's good. That means we'll do adventure first. Now, here's the dealio. We're gonna have a discussion about this, but it's going top god because it is. I think it's quite literally the best Sonic game ever made. We can debate and whatnot, but that's where it's going.
The channel dictator here. Okay.
Yeah, the only 2 moments I'm gonna have, the only 2 Hitler moments I'm gonna have on this stream are for Sonic R and Sonic Adventure. Nothing's beating Adventure because, I mean, let's hear your guys' thoughts on the game before I go full Zig Heil.
It's a fun game. I love this game. Like I said earlier, I love the Dreamcast. To me, this is the Dreamcast, essentially. Everything about this game feels good. This was, people might say 3D Blast was the jump into 3D or whatever. This was a whole different ball game. This told us that 3D Sonic was possible and it'd be really good. Great storytelling, visually looks beautiful. I think it feels decent on controls. I mean, yeah, I complain about jank in all Sonic games, but I think I was okay with how this game felt. So I have no complaints. Soundtrack is great. Yeah, I don't think this game has a jank at all.
Sonic, at least. You could with Amy, Gamma, and Big, there's jank, but with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, I find this game to be flawless in its controls. Literally flawless.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't go that far. But then again,
No, the way you can abuse the physics system in this game in a way that does not hurt the game in any way, shape, or form with those three characters is there has never been a Sonic game. Like, they actually toned that back for the sequel because it was so abusive in a way that let you just trounce this game. And it was amazing. The ultimate freedom of movement in any Sonic game ever was Sonic Adventure.
Well, and I will unfortunately I'll say, like, I played the DX version on stream. That's what I played. I played the GameCube port, and there was a moment where it was just like I was running and it just fell through the floor. It unfortunately
Yeah, but
that is an
DX doesn't
unfortunate
count.
reality.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DX is a shitty, hastily thrown together port that does such a disservice. Like, there's a reason I use the Dreamcast art for Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Like, you can, to be fair, the GameCube port of 2 Battle is a very good port. It's a damn shame that Adventure did not get the same love and care.
Yeah, Imp, you should do yourself a favor and play the Dreamcast version. I did that recently. I tried the first level out, and just the first level alone really changed my perspective on the game, because I streamed the DX cut from Steam, and yeah, that was really disappointing playing that. But the Dreamcast version, it changed my perspective on it.
Yeah, I would say that bonus points, you get to play as Large the Feline.
And so, I mean, to add to that, because that sort of goes into what I was going to bring up next, this was the first time for many people that Sonic and them, that you heard them. Like, yeah, the sprites had personality. They bounce back and forth. Sonic would wag his finger at you. But, like, this is Sonic. When you think of the blue dude with the tood, when you think of the overzealous, very, I don't know, macho is the right word, but very charismatic, cocky, confident hero, it is this Sonic. This is the one that laid the groundwork for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I give this game a lot of credit. It tread new ground, and it tried a lot of unique things that worked very well.
Broke new ground.
It did great stuff. The music was fantastic. The gameplay was unique. You got 6 completely different play styles to play as, and that was awesome. I love it. There you go.
Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me. You guys keep chatting while I'll see if I can find something, because I will always go back to this.
Imp, I really want you to play the Dreamcast version. That's the part that's devastating me.
I will have
to DX.
if it comes with that much, but I'd have to find. I mean, there's at least a Dreamcast in the retro store nearby. I would just have to find a copy. If I could find a copy and I have enough money to support it.
Well, I mean, you have Steam, don't you?
Say again?
You have Steam, don't you?
Yeah, I've got Steam. You talked about that mod.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because the game is like the Sonic DX version is like $2.50 all the time on Steam. You buy DX, you run the mod for free. I mean, nothing will feel the same as holding a Dreamcast in your hands. I completely understand that, but my God, just playing it on PC with the Dreamcast mod, it really does. It is. I can't tell a difference. I truly cannot tell the difference. And the thing about the mod is that there was this game connected to the internet way back in the day, like, which was amazing. And so the mod also factors in what time of the year it is for you, whatnot, and will factor in those time of the time sensitive. Like, if it's around Christmas time, you'll see Station Square decorated with all the Christmas trees. And
that's cool.
It's the mod takes that into account. It's so cool.
The original game did that. It had like internal clock, like that's impressive. Wow.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time. I'm telling you, the Dreamcast itself was ahead of its time. It's devastating what happened to it.
Man, where is because I've got it saved on my computer, but I don't know if I could fucking show it without actually going to it on X. There's got to be an easier way to search for it. For anyone that's familiar with Mugen Lord, who is, I love the dude to death. His little reaction to the first time playing Sonic Adventure is like, I do not think there's a better clip on the internet, and I just need to need to find it, because I want to give my boy a shout out.
And Shadow brought up, the Nights music and Christmas time. Oh, it's just so good.
Oh, that's really, Night. This game is how I found out about Nights into Dreams.
Yeah, that's also like actually fantastic. I do love that the which game was it that had your bonus stage was Nights into Dreams? I think that was Sonic Robo Blast 2.
So in Adventure, in Sonic Adventure, the pinball mini game, there's 2 different pinball mini games, and one of them is a Nights into Dreams pinball machine, which was super cool. Here we go. I've got a better way to do this.
We're doing it live, guys. We're
We
doing it
are
live.
doing it live.
But yeah, this is a very well-deserved God tier game, in my opinion. I know a lot of people might feel more fond of Sonic Adventure 2 because they're very nostalgic for it, but I do think Sonic Adventure holds up really, really well. It's worth stepping back and playing. Don't play the version Imp played. It's not worth your time. The characters will scream at you at really loud volumes while they're shouting over the music that's also blasting at a really loud volume. It's just so bad.
The game is ear rape through and through.
It's literally that.
And I know you're a shill for Sonic Adventure for Sonic Adventure 2, and I understand why, because perfect. Okay, here it is. No, this is not it. But this might be it. But anyway, when you play the Dreamcast version of the game, I think your opinion will absolutely change. Like I really do.
And yes, Colors is an F. Colors sucks. I'm sorry. I hate it.
I think this is it. So
imagine 7th grade me playing this right now, playing Dreamcast, because you gotta remember, PS2 wasn't out yet. All you had was the Nintendo 64 and the PS1. That's all you had at this time, at this point. And then you get introduced to graphics like this. When I popped in the Dreamcast and when I popped in Sonic Adventure 1 and I saw this, I said, this is not Sonic. This can't be Sonic. I see cities and buildings. What is this? This is 7th grade me. Then I see people walking around and I'm like, what is this? This can't be Sonic. Is this the right game? Did they make a mistake when my dad bought the game? This can't be Sonic. I'm still confused. 7th grade me is still confused. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? I'm not upset. I'm just confused. I was like, this can't be I grew up playing Sonic on Sega Genesis. I'm like, what is this? And then Sonic Adventure comes on. Now, of course, hell with the DX part. But Sonic Adventure comes up. Right? And I'm like, okay. I'm hearing the music. I'm like, yo, I'm hyped. My adrenaline is pumping. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, yo, and my dad's sitting with me. He's getting pumped. I'm sitting there, me and dad looking. I'm like, and then I'm like, yo, what is this? And I'm like, I'm still confused. And then this part, you see Sonic. I'm like, yo, I'm hyperventilating. I'm seeing Sonic. I'm like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? And what's going on? What's going on? And then Open Your Heart comes on. And it's the first time, Crest 40. I'm like, I see Tails. I'm like, Tails. I'm like, I'm going crazy. I'm grabbing on my dad and everything. I'm like, I'm going, and I see Amy. I'm like, Amy. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, I'm going crazy. And I'm like, who's this character? I'm like, a robot. I said, Knuckles. I'm like, Big Stick. I'm like, who is this character? Then I see Eggman. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, why is this so fucking epic? They do like you don't understand what I was experiencing right here. 7th grade me is going crazy. Yup. Bro, this drove me wild growing up.
Like that right there, that
perfect.
reaction that he had is what all of us went through. And like you could see the light in his eyes when he was reliving that on that stream. Like to me, I've never ever seen a Sonic game do that to a person aside from like me and Mugen Lord. And but I feel like that's probably what everybody went through in the 90s before we were so connected with the internet. And so we just didn't see other people have that reaction, but they did.
That was awesome.
That
reaction was priceless.
Is the best Sonic game ever made.
I completely understand why people think Sonic Adventure 1 is better than 2. I completely understand. And looking at everything, I'm probably going to get outvoted anyway. So, like, I get it. Like, I completely understand. Like, it's got 6 different completely unique game styles. The story's excellent. The animations were fun. And I'm playing the wrong versions because both Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle are both miserable with their audio balancing. I completely get it. So I discount that when I talk about the games.
But that being said, are you good to go Angry Canadian.
Yeah, I'm
have
good
it
to go.
finished.
Yes.
Alrighty. So before we rank our final game, we're gonna go. Let me know when you want me to blow up your screen and when you want to turn your camera on. Homie's been working on a project while putting this together.
All right, you can blow me up now, and I'll just intro it. So based off of what I've got on my screen here, this nice like wallpaper that I quickly found before the stream. Yeah, I've been working on this project. This is something Melee K knows because I shared it in their Discord over there. I'm a collector of sorts, and so when I saw this was announced last year, I knew I had to buy it right away. And this is probably the only thing from the series that I chose that I was going to buy from it. So without further ado, I went ahead and bought the Shadow the Hedgehog or Lego Shadow the Hedgehog, and this is called Shadow's Escape. So there's a couple of cool things about this. So obviously you've got like your Robotnik robots here, and you got the little creatures inside right here. But what I thought was really neat is you've got the Shadow the Hedgehog logo, which you never really see anywhere other than the original game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen it anywhere else. You've got him in his little like capsule here where he's gonna break out of, and yeah, all you do is you push down on this and the glass pops out. Unfortunately, there's no firearm included, so I might have to go and find something like that online to include in here. But yeah, you just slap him on here if I can get him to fit correctly, and there you go, Shadow the Hedgehog in Lego form. I wanted to buy this right away because I'm a big Shadow fan, and that's going to be in relation to the game we're about to talk to. But just as a bonus, here's a Ghost Rider as well. So now he's got a riding buddy.
That's funny. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, that is sick. It looks so much like on the box. It looked pretty cool and stuff. Like seeing it in motion and whatnot is, yeah. I like.
Oh yeah,
I like
sorry, the box.
Oh yeah. I love the box uses the correct Sonic Adventure 2 fucking aesthetic. Like I love that there's the not Kuko, that's from Zelda. The little I don't remember what the animals are called, but like in the robot, like yeah, that's
I mean that's
sick.
That's not a flicky, but you could call. I mean, yeah, I love that the Badniks have the Badnik came with a critter. That's great. That's a great attention to detail.
I didn't know this thing
show
was
that.
a thing. No, Canadian, thank you so much for showing us that because yeah, when you put it in our Discord too, I'm like, this is a thing. I need to buy this now. This is so cool.
This past year, or like past year and a half, Lego's been doing Sonic the Hedgehog Lego sets. They started with like a diorama type set, which is like really cool. It's like one of those like adult type Lego sets, and then they got into more of the kids sets. So they're like they're considered play sets. So they have like little mechanics and whatnot. And so, yeah, I was shocked that they made a Shadow one, considering like he's kind of like he's a darker character. So like you wouldn't advertise that to kids, but yeah.
Now that you mentioned the logo, I'm trying to think because I have the Shadow sneakers. Do they have the logo on there? I don't think so. I have to go find.
Well,
those.
and so while we're showing off Sonic stuff, since Melee showed off her Shadow controller. Obviously I've got a lot of Sonic stuff behind me. But I think one of my most prized Sonic possessions is probably this right here. I've got this nice Sonic statue. Right now, unfortunately, his arm is broken, and that's upsetting. I'll get that repaired. But signed by Roger Craig Smith, the voice actor for Sonic. So this is a nice Sonic statue. Awesome. His arm got damaged in a move. I opened a box and it was snapped, and I've got his arm sitting over here. He's holding a big ring. I'm trying to find the best way to repair it that won't cause like glue damage or whatnot. So that's why he's not put together yet. But yeah, it's signed by Roger Craig Smith. I love, while we're doing Sonic Show and Tell, Sonic Adventure 2. Where are we ranking it, boys?
It's definitely God tier. It's up in the top, one of the two. I would vote 2 above 1 myself, but I'm gonna get outvoted anyway.
You're not necessarily getting outvoted.
I agree with you.
I would put it right. Whoops, behind it. I would. I mean, I think these are the objectively. If anyone chooses 1 or 2 as their favorite, I'm always okay with that. But these are the 2 best Sonic games, 1 and 2.
I mean, I made an entire stream transition screen video for my OBS that it's homage to Rouge. So let's go. Yeah, like Kay's seen it. She knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if it's loaded in.
Eddie Rahman is correct. The treasure hunting is fucking broken in Sonic Adventure 2. It's a major step down from the first one, unfortunately. And I don't like the gunplay as much as I do in Sonic Adventure 1, but it's there's pros and cons to Sonic Adventure 2 when you compare it to Sonic Adventure 1, but at the end of the day, dude, these are fucking Sonic. I don't know anybody that doesn't. Again, if you grew up with these games, you fucking loved them. I don't know how modern gamers would attack these two games nowadays because if they started gaming recently, but they'd be wrong.
I think modern gamers would have some genuine argument towards this. There is a lot of it that's broken. I've spoken on the audio mixing already and how that's terrible. There's definitely some like Sonic flows really well in this game, but when you get to like Tails, there's definitely some segments where it doesn't feel as good. But I love this game. I love the Chow Garden. I think the intro to this game is one of the best. You're in like San Francisco and you're going down that like hill, and it's just
And
so
Escape of the City's
perfect.
playing, and
But
The
it can't be
music's
San Francisco
blasting.
because there's not literal shit everywhere.
I
fair
made
enough.
that same joke.
Well, hold on a second. This is 90s San Francisco, not 20.
Yeah.
No, I
This
know,
is-
but like
yeah.
that's what's like Sega would like tend to do that kind of like San Francisco type feel in
It
some of their
was-
games at the beginning. But
I
that
love it.
that scene's amazing. Like anytime I play that, I feel like I'm back in the early 2000s again, going down that like hill, and you just feel badass with the music blasting. One of the best soundtracks in any Sonic. It's just, oh, it's such a good
And I
game.
mean, you got Escape from the City being sang by Ted Poley, the lead singer at Danger Danger, for all the fucking hair metal fans out there. Like, there's so much done right. There's,
It's
I
hard.
cannot put into words how these two games. Unfortunately, I couldn't save the Dreamcast. But if you had a Dreamcast and you only had two games, it was gonna be these two. And if you had a third, it was
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say it's hard, right? Because I love Sonic Adventure 2. Like, I think, and just the same as I joke about, Large the Feline in Sonic Adventure, I make the same joke about Rouge the Bat in Sonic Adventure 2. I agree that the treasure hunts were not that fun, but very specifically, I cite Mad Space as my worst part of Sonic Adventure 2. That very specific Rouge level is probably one of the worst levels in that game. Beyond that, most of the stuff is very fun and varied. I think Sonic Adventure 1 does a slightly better job in giving a little bit more diversity, but in gameplay aspects, because each of the six different characters plays differently, but Sonic Adventure 2, while it cuts it down a little bit on gameplay diversity, the different aesthetic for the levels all feel very unique, and I like the story. I like the stories for both. They're really fun. The bosses,
love that
the boss fights, all that.
For the treasure hunting, I get totally the complaints, but I love the music they use for Knuckles, especially in the pumpkin area.
Oh my
That
goodness.
song
Yes.
so good.
Banger.
I unironically love Rouge's music. Rouge's music, like Fly in the Freedom and Mad Space has great music, which is what pisses me off because I love the music, but I don't want to spend 13 minutes flying in circles just trying to escape the gravity of the fucking pill planet.
Real quick, Sonic Boom fan. If you're talking about the elemental question, I'll be real because you come at me with these questions all the time. So I'll just I do not give a shit about anything Disney or Pixar related after Tangled. Literally, if it came out after Tangled, I either haven't seen it or seen it and don't give a shit about it, and that would include Elemental. Just so you know for future reference. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. Just like I give you pretty much the same answer every time you ask a question, which is don't have an opinion because I don't give a fuck. Like that's the Elemental falls in that same. If it's after Tangled, just assume that'll be my answer. Anyway, continue, guys.
I just, it's hard for me, right? Because I think they're both fantastic. I personally think 2 was just slightly more polished, and the Chow Garden is still like the reason. I think this goes from being like an 8 out of 10 to a 9.5 out of 10 for me. It is childhood. It is a lot of rose tinted glasses and nostalgia for me. But I unironically just love Sonic Adventure 2. I think it's great, and the multiplayer is a lot of fun.
Oh
This
yeah,
is a 9.5.
multiplayer is a lot of fun.
Like,
This is a
genuinely love
9.5 out of 10, like out of any gaming ever, or just out of Sonic games.
out of Sonic games. No, it's
Okay.
not. It's still up there, but it's got very obvious flaws. It's got very weird things going on.
I think, and honestly, even compared, I cannot look at this game without comparing it to Sonic Adventure. To me, they're two halves of a whole. I even think these speed levels are, inferior, not by much. They're still both fucking fantastic, but like the the speed levels in Adventure are more open and free flowing, whereas they're far more linear in Sonic Adventure 2, which I think is a downgrade, but not everybody will. So, it's just one of those things where it depends on what your thoughts on level design philosophy. But just to recap, before we got 15 minutes left, there's a couple other quick Sonic things I want to refer to. So for those of you watching, here's the tier list. We've got in the DeviantArt Sonic fan tier, Sonic Boom and Sonic Forces. F tier is Sonic Free Riders, Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and Sonic Colors. C tier is Lost World, Sonic the Black Knight, Sonic Riders, and 3D Blast. B tier is Sonic 06 and both versions of Unleashed. A tier, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Frontiers, and then the God tier Sonic games, Generations, Sonic R, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Adventure. And that will be our list for the day. Let us commence with the last bit of our, chicanery when it comes to Sonic, our tomfoolery, if you will. Did anybody else watch Knuckles?
I did. I'm excited to talk about it with you. I want to know your
By all
opinion.
means, I want to hear your thoughts because I literally just watched it last. I thought I'll get through an episode or two and then watch the rest before the stream, and I got fucking hooked. So I watched it all in one sitting.
It's a great show. Now, as a Sonic fan, is it completely a Sonic show? No. Okay. You have to accept that, first of all, you're going to see, it's a Knuckles show, so you're going to see Knuckles, but one thing that they do in a lot of these kinds of shows is they try to focus on the human aspect a little bit too and go, how do these characters impact the world that they're in? And I think that's what they did a really good job with in the show is like more you feel the influence of Knuckles' character through the entire story and how it creates the character growth for the human character. And I love just
like touch on that real quick before you because in these sorts of movies, Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, even Godzilla, everyone's obvious complaints are the human characters. I've never had that complaint about either the Sonic movies, and that carries over into Knuckles. I enjoy the human characters. Now, are they completely ridiculous and don't make sense in the context of the real world? Yeah, the human characters are still basically cartoon characters, but I enjoy them. I like seeing Wade's journey and Wade's growth. Like, people were saying Knuckles is barely in the show, and that's why I was hesitant to watch it. Are they fucking high? Knuckles is in 70% of it. Like,
okay, well, the movies, I did not like the human characters in the movies. I'm gonna come out and say that. I just found them super boring.
For being so focused on Sonic, it should have been more focused on Sonic.
Sure, but that's where I'm like on the fence about it because I think it's done well in Knuckles. But I think that the characters have to be compelling. I think Wade is a good character to be paired up with Knuckles. It's like a buddy cop movie almost. Like it works really well with the two of them. I have a problem with the whole they go in the movies and they're like on this human conversation about their marriage and all this stuff. It's like too much for me. Sonic X did it really well with the cartoons and Christopher's story. I thought that was really well done. So
honestly, I think Sonic X, everyone loves Sonic Boom. I think Sonic X is better than Sonic Boom. I really do.
Oh, I don't agree with you there. Sonic Boom, Sonic Underground, Sonic X for me.
I can't believe Sonic Underground so high. I'm not knocking it because I love Sonic Underground, but most people fucking hate that show.
Sonic Underground was my favorite before Sonic Boom came out.
Really?
As much as I love Sonic Boom, I actually, I'm going to get shit for this. I actually unironically like The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but mostly that's just because of how obscenely ridiculous it was. Scratch, Grounder, Coconuts, all of them.
I cannot rewatch. I've tried rewatching The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It is too absurd to the point where now Jaleel White as Sonic is arguably my favorite Sonic. I think Jaleel White is my favorite Sonic.
Yeah.
But
I've seen too many.
I'm with Shadow right here. Sad AM is my.
Yeah. I have seen too many YouTube poops. My internet poisoned brain cannot stand it anymore.
Yeah, fun fact about Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Sonic X did its own thing at first, and the second season copied Adventure 2, and it very loosely did Heroes. Then it did its own thing, which sucked, but if you watch it uncensored in Japanese, it's really good.
Well, unset localization.
I'm kind of curious, for the guys that had the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, did it come with the CD for a couple episodes of Sonic Underground?
What? I didn't get that if it was a thing.
No, I had Sonic Underground on DVD, but no.
Okay, because my introduction to Sonic Underground was through Sonic Unleashed on the Wii. It came with an extra CD.
Wow.
I don't personally have it. I think my family still has it, so I should probably get it.
I
But
need to find this.
it was kind of funny.
Yes,
I was like,
Urkel
because I
is
was
Sonic,
kind of
like, you know?
I was traumatized by it. I was like, what is this weird like Sonic cartoon? And they're running around singing like a punk rock band. Like it wasn't like
It's
a
awesome.
thing at the time,
It's
but
awesome.
yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah, the original 2 Sonic cartoons, yes, Jaleel White Urkel was Sonic the Hedgehog. Shaka
Yep.
Zulu is asking everyone's favorite Sonic VA. Like I said, from any media period, Jaleel White. But if it's from the games, then I believe Brian Drummond is who does Sonic and Sonic Adventure. I'll have to double check on that. But if it's not Brian Drummond, whoever did the voice of Sonic in the adventure games.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
there.
in the same opinion, yeah. But no, I think the Knuckles show, like, yes, there was a lot of human aspect. I think that's what people are detracted from. My kind of complaint about the Knuckles show is that it felt rushed near the end. I think, like, in the last episode or 2, I kind of was like, okay, like, this is getting drawn out a bit much. There was that, oh god, the guy from Robin Hood Men in Tights. I ended up watching that film, like, the day before out of coincidence, and then watched the Knuckles show. I found him a little annoying after a while, personally.
Sonic Boom fan, you're making a huge assumption that the reason I don't like Disney after Tangled is the politics. Just throwing that out there. There's so much more to it than that. Sorry, continue.
No, I don't worry. But
Yeah.
I think like what this show did a better job is of like showcasing Paramount licenses rather than Sonic stuff. I think that's a big complaint I have, is that there was a lot of missed opportunity. Yes, they do put Easter eggs and there's a lot of love into it,
Like
but they did a
ESPN
really
8
good job of like
show.
Paramount.
Ha!
I love that was there. Like in my head,
Yep.
canon
Fucking Chuck
Oddball
Norris.
exists in the Sonic universe, and I fucking love
Yes.
that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Like I want Vince Vaughn in Sonic 3. Let's fucking go. Vince Vaughn for
Oh my
Gerald
God.
Robotnik. Let's do it.
I'm so
Oh
in.
my
You have no
god.
idea.
I would. Oh, that'd be great. But then he'd be younger than fucking Robotnik.
But yeah, if you want a show that like reminds you of those, I guess Buddy Cop would be the best comparison I could make.
Mhm.
If you want something like that, this is a really good job of that. It might not be for every Sonic fan because you might be upset you're not seeing your favorite characters as much, but it's really well written.
Well, to be
for,
fair,
like, a
Knuckles is the
TV
name
show.
of the fucking show. So if you're upset you're not seeing Sonic and Tails, it's literally called Knuckles.
I know.
So
I've heard complaints about Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, like that they're not seeing enough of them. But for me, it's like it works with what they're trying to do. And
Well,
it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Knuckles should be the main. Like Knuckles is in the show a lot, but he's in the show as a. I get when people make the argument that Wade is the main character. I think that's
Yeah.
good. Knuckles has always been a side character, so to put him in his own show, I still think keeping him as like the main supporting cast member actually works because it shows Knuckles as the he does basically he's playing the same role in the show as he plays in the games, which is badass support character that lifts up the main character.
I've got one question. It's a go no go question for me. Is the first time that you see Knuckles him taking a nap?
Ever in
No.
Sonic?
No.
In the
damn.
Knuckles show.
And then
I
this is
don't
the first
think
time
so.
that you see him taking a nap because that's been
No,
him.
you
that
see
was
him,
him.
He's eating Cool Ranch Doritos in the first scene you see.
No. The very first thing you see of
What?
him is him doing his running through a
Oh,
a
yeah, you're right.
stylized version. Basically, he's doing
Yeah.
a workout regimen, but his workout regimen is a reference to the first level of Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That was
okay.
amazing.
I could get
love
down with that. I was gonna say like he better be sitting there in like Mushroom Hill taking a nap because that's exactly what he was doing in most of the games that he's been in. He just sat there
One
taking a
thing
nap.
did make me obscenely upset, but I got over it very quickly about the Knuckles show. And that was Chief Pachacamac being knowing who Knuckles was, because in lore, Chief Pachacamac should have died generations before Knuckles was even fucking born.
Yeah.
And so for Knuckles to have known who he was, like he's still dead in the Knuckles show, he's just a spirit, but like Knuckles knew him before his death. And I'm like, that is not correct. And also they made him more or less a good guy, and Chief Pachacamac was a
Was
fucking
not.
monster warmonger. But
Yeah.
whatever. I get the changes for a kid's show. I got it. His design was spot on. So here's holding out hopes we see Takal at some point.
I can't wait to watch this show. We don't have Paramount Plus in Japan, and trying to use a VPN it doesn't like really work that well. So I have to, surf the internet, if you
I
so
might have-
will.
I
I
might
think
have to
the
sail the
first-
seven seas for it.
The first episode might still be on YouTube. It was put on free YouTube, so
I checked
can at least
recently.
start
I
there.
couldn't find it on YouTube, unless
Oh,
unless
okay.
it's a region thing. But I still couldn't find it.
damn. Yeah, it was limited time maybe, but they said they put it because it was so successful. People loved it. That they put it the first episode on YouTube. So
Are you saying they make Knuckles too much of a joke or Chief Pachacamac Shaka Zulu? Because I don't mind Knuckles as long as Knuckles' intelligence is not being insulted, which the show doesn't do. I don't mind him being a joke. Like they make the jokes based on his existing personality as opposed to changing his personality for the jokes, and I think that works.
Yeah, respect the character. You can make him a joke, but there's a lot of material to make jokes out of him with. You don't have to completely disregard the character to make a joke out of him.
They treat him like they treat Drax and Guardians of the Galaxy, but they do it in a funnier, better way, is the best way to put it.
Well, Drax was a funny character. He was, again.
His reaction to everything is the comedy in this show, and it's just perfectly done. And, like, you would expect the writing to go one way or another, and maybe they try to, drop their own feelings into stuff. It's just Knuckles being like, so anyways, like, he just doesn't care. And that's what makes it great.
Before we wrap, I am gonna show Imp's
the moment.
But before that, because I'm sure yours is funnier than mine, so I'm gonna tell my own fucking I got hurt playing video games, specifically a Sonic game moment. But again, I'm starting mine because I can't follow yours up. You literally got struck by fucking lightning. But no, so I think it's the first time I was living on my own, like as an adult. I had a roommate, but like. Wasn't living with parents or anything like that. Instead of having a TV, I had a projector. And so we had this, we built this shelf to shine the projector on the wall. And we had our GameCube hooked up to it. And we were playing Sonic Adventure 2. And so on the shelf, you've got the GameCube with the projector. And of course, it's a cabled cord. And I'm playing through the level in Sonic Adventure 2 where I don't remember if it was the Rouge level or the Tails level, but it was the one where you're driving, chasing the president.
Mm-hmm.
And something happened, and I got pissed, and I yanked the controller, and it brought that entire GameCube down on my head and straight up knocked me unconscious for a few moments. Like I had to regain consciousness, and the game is still going. The GameCube is unscathed, and the disc didn't pop out. It didn't open up, didn't break the GameCube. No, that game is still fucking going after the GameCube fell on my head and knocked me out for a moment.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I got a follow-up to the video that you actually... a follow-up to that video that I linked you, which is me testing the thing after.
Let us share the video, and this is the moment.
This was, unfortunately, before you play it, the internet cut out immediately before this happened, so everyone was just like, oh, wait, hey, what happened? The stream cut out, and then I had to explain everything.
Yeah, dude, straight up, cold cut by GameCube, fucking exactly. Alrighty, let's go.
That's fine. Not great, but... Whoa, shit! Oh, God! Fuck! Oh, God! Yeah, there is a tiny bit more, but I did not want to...
For the folks that don't know what that was, explain what you explained to me backstage.
So I was struck by lightning midstream. My computer is on an isolated battery backup power supply, which is why it caught everything on camera just fine. The router's not. The power surge knocked the internet out because it reset the router. So the surge traveled through my electrical system, through the media center, into my GameCube, through the controller wire, and it shocked me through a metal screw on the back of the controller behind the D-pad into my left middle finger, down my arm, down my side, out the floor, through the back of my leg. I still have a mark on my ass where that happened. And if the picture that I linked works, then that shows, like, I went to the ER. Like, I went just to get checked. I'm perfectly fine. But like, I've got ER paperwork for that and everything.
I saw the photo you sent me. I wasn't going to share it just because, like medical info and whatnot. I don't know if YouTube would allow it.
I made sure to crop out personal information. So that just should have, like, just this, like, the stats and the diagnosis. So you're fine to share that if you want.
Give me one moment here. Present, share.
I actually...
Yep, here it is.
Yeah, there you go. Lightning initial encounter.
Visit lightning strike. Diagnosis, lightning, initial encounter. I love how they put initial encounter because that applies. There will be a follow-up encounter. You are not safe from the lightning that tried to take you out, son.
No, Shaka Zulu, I did not get superpowers. Zeus made me his bitch and was angry that I didn't call him back. It's like crazy. Yeah, I could not ask for a better anecdote because you know what's even funnier, and I posted the video. That's like a
Yep, I'm
4-minute
getting that,
video, but the GameCube survived. Like if you go about halfway through, like about like probably like right there, and then just turn it on.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Dude,
it still works.
GameCube was surviving lightning strikes. GameCube would be throwing hands with streamers and fucking
Yeah.
winning. Like these
It
things
is
are amazing. And that
it is
GameCube,
the
by the
Death
way, that I
Cube
dropped on my head, I
9000.
still have, and it still
Yeah.
works.
It is the Death Cube 9000. I'm testing all of my consoles. I'm gonna make a video about that thing. It's hilarious. I couldn't ask for something better. Every single one of my coworkers is like laughing their asses off, like, "Oh, you fucking got struck by lightning."
In that
Oh,
first video, the loud crash we heard, was that you dropping the controller, or was that the sound of like the lightning?
that's the thunder.
Okay.
The jumping crackle is the electricity jumping from my controller, and then the crash in the background is the thunder. And then it's like, oh boy,
That's insane, dude.
yeah, it's hilarious. It really is. But it's just like, oh my Jesus Christ! Like it was scary. It was absolutely scary, and I could have gotten very unlucky. But it's like only like 10% of lightning strike victims actually pass away. But yeah, no, this is absolutely right. Don't be stupid like I did. I could have gotten very unlucky there. I'm lucky that everything in my house still seems to work. I'm still testing things, but
See, I disagree. I think that, if you did die, hey, you died doing what you loved.
yeah, it's true. I wouldn't have to go work a Mother's Day brunch service. I'd rather get struck by lightning again.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I figured it would be best just to finish off with Pain. I will now give the floor to the folks to let you know where they're going, what they're doing. So let's start off with the Angry Canadian. Tell the people who you are, where they can find you, what you do, the whole nine. While I link your channel in the chat below.
Yes, so thanks for having me on, man. This has been fun, and I'm glad that Kotaku was able to bring us together to argue about, top 3D Sonic games. As for me, you can find me on Angry Canadian here on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter. I go by the Twitter handle Toa Nippon. And as far as Pain goes, I will be live streaming my continuation of Sonic and the Secret Rings tomorrow morning, around 7 a.m. Eastern time. So if you want to see me suffer through the game some more, I'm hoping I can finish it this stream or the next stream because I really want to move on. But other than that, appreciate you having me on. And I will be on a stream later this week, so just follow me on Twitter and you'll be notified for when I go on stream later this week.
Perfect. Happy to do it, dude. No, having you was a blast. I'm having a bitch of a time finding your fucking channel for whatever reason. To link
there's
down
an
below.
if you do the it's underscore in between Angry and Canadian, so it's @Angry_Canadian for the YouTube handle.
All right, give me one moment here. And don't you spell Canadian weird? Don't you spell C-A-N like with an E?
I-E-N, yes.
That's the proper way if you're French.
Is that really the proper way to spell it?
I think Quebec
the
does
French
that, right?
way. Yeah, it's
Quebec
a
does
Quebec way. It's just a homage to my family, I guess you could say.
Well, either way, I appreciate Bud. Everybody, make sure you go check out his stream later. Thank you for showing up. Like I said, I'm glad that Kotaku brought us together. Melee K, tell the people who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Well, thanks again also for having me on. I had a blast talking Sonic with you guys. Angry Canadian said it best. Kotaku brought us together, unfortunately. But I am Melee K, one half of Melee Games. You might have seen Melee James in the chat as well. We do a bunch of gaming content. So we have like a little podcast. We talk about video games. We play video games, all sorts of things. Do a bunch of community events. At the end of this month, we're going to be playing TF2. So if you like TF2, come play with us. We're going to have a great time. Where you can find us this week, well, look up Melee Games pretty much on any platform at this point. You'll find us, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, all that fun stuff, Twitter. We're going to be playing Helldivers tomorrow night. And then later in the week, we're going to be doing a guest appearance. I can't announce quite yet, but I think a lot of people here watch that show, so they'll probably recognize us there. And then otherwise, I'm going to be on the RNG Gaming Podcast on Saturday and Beelzepub on Friday. So I'll be all over the internet all week.
Well, I am so glad that you were able to come here and spend this time with us to talk Sonic the Hedgehog. It means the world to me. I much appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you go follow not just Melee K, but also, you know, the whole of the Melee James, the whole stream Melee Games, because they put out a lot of great stuff. They're absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. You have a good rest of your day, girly. And last but not least, Internet Crusader, Imp Black Belt. Tell the people who you are, what you do, where they can find you. I've got your live link. I don't know if that's the one you want me to use or not.
Well, I'm actually I'm ramping up to stream immediately after this. So, you can post both of you can post any of those links. You already have my YouTube, like the main account, but you could post the live account link if you want. I put a lot of the focus on the Twitch side. I'm monetized over there already. I'm actually going to go play.
Oh, if you want to send me that link, I can just drop that in the chat.
It should be in the private chat.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I am getting ready to go stream right away, actually. I'm going to go play some multiplayer Halo 3. I do a lot of retro, a lot of indie games. Like I've been playing a lot of like Ziggurat 2, Bingle Bingle. I've got a whole playlist of Sonic the Hedgehog games from the start on my channel. It's called my Sonic Retrospective, but I generally just do a ton of everything. I don't put a lot of focus on the more modern stuff unless it's really good, like Helldivers 2. And I'd love the multiplayer madness. If I can get people to play with anytime, like with viewers, friends, you name it. If you want in on it, let me know.
I would. I don't play Helldivers 2 or really any fucking online. I won't lie. I'm a terrible team player. I'm sick of solo games because I'm a fucking asshole to play any sort of co-op game with. I'll play fighting games where we're fighting each other, or I'll play PvP or something, but you do not want me on a team. I'm a fucking dickhead.
I love fighting games, but I'm bad at them. Except for Smash Brothers, which I'm all right.
If you want to play some Smash together on stream or something, dude, we go all in. I would love to play some Smash with you, but I'm an absolute control freak. So
if you and I are in the same room together, it's Melee. We play Melee.
Oh, dude, I'm down. I'm down. I want to play some Smash with Melee K as well. I want to play some Ultimate with her to see how things go. But yeah, dude, I was so happy to have you. Thank you so much. And yeah, anything else you want before I kick you on out of here?
No, man. I appreciate the time. This is, like you said, like as much as I hate Kotaku and all of them, like they brought us together. I'm super happy for us to be hanging out, and I always love making new friends. You can invite if you do a 2D Sonic ranking, I want to be there.
Oh, for sure. We will probably be doing that. We'll probably be doing Final Fantasy at some point. I like to do these special, like, just ranking and talking about gaming streams once every few months when I don't want to cover the news, which is I definitely didn't want to cover it today. But, man, you have a good rest of your day. All right, brother?
All right, man. Have a good one, guys.
And last but not least, you got me. You know what we like to do here. It is Monday. For a lot of you guys, it's the start of your week. You know, you're getting up, you're going to work, you're starting the week in a way that, let's be real, a lot of times isn't positive. Between all the news going on, whether it be politics, whether it be pop culture, considering they are all tied together in today's way, shape, and form, I like to give a way that we can all have fun. Sometimes it's the positive, sometimes it's the negative. But at the end of the day, you come through, you come in the chat with your opinions, your diverse voices, and I mean real diversity, the diversity of thought. Looking back through this chat today, there was a lot of disagreements, which is what I love to see. Whether we're disagreeing about politics, whether we're disagreeing about policies, or whether we're disagreeing about where we're going to rank Sonic games, I like seeing disagreement because that means that we can have a conversation, we can further a conversation, and it just shows that we all have keen minds for actually understanding diversity of thought and understanding different people's opinions. So hopefully I got your week started off right. Thank you so much to Emily Dismantling Illusions for dropping the 5 gifties. For those of you that got those, if you were not already in the Discord, I'll be updating the Discord link right after the right after the stream. Yes, just 1 month membership. It gets you Discord access for life. So, you know, if you're new, if you're not going to keep it, by all means, at least go to the community tab. It will be pinned on the community tab. You will be able to join the Discord. And other than that, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.